Hey everyone, I'm Wootball. So yesterday on Twitter, I decided to post out a little bit of information about what I feel are the current issues with marbles on stream and why I've decided to move in a slightly different direction away from streaming marbles on stream for a career now. Now that was met with a few reactions on Discord and Twitter and DMs to me and things like that. So last night I decided to do a just chatting stream, a little bit of a conversation between myself and the community and a few of the lead developers from Marbles on Stream, Pixel by Pixel Studios, and this is how it went. I know that a lot of people are here for one specific reason, but first of all, I'm just going to say thank you everybody for coming around and chilling out, even though this isn't what I would have ordinarily done on stream. Obviously, my Monday evening stream is now a just chatting stream. I appreciate everybody that's here, whether you're here because you agree with what I'm saying, whether you disagree with what I'm saying, or whether you don't care, you have no side to tell, you're just sitting straight down the middle. Honestly, that's absolutely fine. The only thing I will say before we kick off, we've already put it in the chat, no trash talk tonight. I'm not here for that. I'm not about it. I don't want to create drama and shit amongst people that I genuinely do respect and genuinely do have a lot of time for and genuinely think a lot of because of the opportunities that I've been given and the places it's managed to take this community. This isn't about shit talking or trash talk. This is about my opinion on what has happened or what I'm seeing happening and the reasons why I no longer feel like I want to be part of that and want to move into a slightly different direction, okay? So that's what this is about. I want you to have respect for people, whether you agree with them or not. It doesn't matter. You don't have to agree with everybody. What you do have to have is a respect for people because opinions do matter. Opinions are important. And the only reason that we're even able to do this on stream and do these just chatting streams is because we have opinions and we are able to talk about things in a rational adult way. So with that said, you will have all seen it on Twitter, potentially, or Discord. I know a lot of people have seen it on Twitter. A lot of people have seen it on Discord. My current decision and my feeling that I, at the moment, want to take a direction away from playing marbles on stream. After just over a year of streaming this game and having a lot of good times with it and a lot of things that have happened with the game and opportunities that I've been given. I mean, let me just turn this light down. Jesus Christ, I'm so shiny. I was given a lot of opportunities within the game, such as things like Marble Fest and getting my own sponsored tournament and things like that. That obviously, at that time, that was something that streamers paid for and streamers did apply to the studio to get. But I had my first voice call with Spoo and with a couple of others as well. And that call, honestly, I still remember. Like, it was at 2 AM my time, and I was freaking out because I got to talk to Spoo on a voice call. Like, I still remember that. And the fact that now we've managed to get to a position where not only can I speak to these people regularly and on the level and feel like I'm genuinely almost an equal to them, and they have a lot more experience than I do and than we do, but being able to get to that point and speak to them is honestly such a wonderful thing, and I'm proud that we managed to get to that point. So Spoo, Pixel, I know you're here, and I've spoken to Pixel in DMs. He doesn't want to talk about a lot, he just wants to listen in. I never call out lurkers, but tonight, Spoo and Pixel, I know you're listening, and I want to say thank you for being here, and thank you for at least accepting that there are opinions that to be had, and thank you for hearing or potentially hearing my side of the way I'm feeling, as well as you guys, if you want to, having your input as well, because the whole thing about these streams is having the input back again. That's what creates the content at the end of the day. So what I said on Twitter, and those of you who haven't seen it, I'll put a link in the chat to that tweet right now so that you guys can all see exactly what I said. I'll warn you, it's a little bit long. It is a little bit long. But have a look right there, it's in the chat. And by the way, the hype train at level 4, thank you all. Aaron, thanks for the host, and everyone that's hosted. You can go and check out that tweet now. I have it up here so I can read. Part of me wants to read it through so you can all hear exactly what I said, but I don't know whether you think that's worth your time or not. I don't know. The main gist of it really was that, first of all, I want to show a massive amount of thanks to the people involved with Marbles on Stream behind the scenes, whether developers, community managers, people involved with the Discord, people involved with promoting the game, social media, that sort of stuff. I want to say a huge thanks and respect to them, because whenever I've spoken to them in person, in private, they've been nothing but respectful back. We've had conversations back and forth, and even though there are times where I haven't agreed with things that they've said, and we've had not heated conversations, but conversations that could have become that way, it hasn't. And we've always had this ability to talk to each other. We're all adults at the end of the day, and they've genuinely been really respectful to me. Aaron, thank you for the tier 1. I appreciate that. And Babs, thank you for the host as well. So a few other things that happened was I was given a chance with Marblefest, and I am in absolutely no doubt whatsoever that playing marbles on stream and being involved with that community was one of the catalysts that helped this community to get partnered on Twitch. Now, earlier on in Spoo's Raw stream on Spoo's channel, Pixel said, well, I don't know why this isn't updating, by the way. It didn't update last week, it's not updating now. But earlier on in Raw, Spoo and Pixel both kind of said that we did that alone and it was nothing to do with marbles. I personally disagree with that. The reason that we all got together and started becoming and forming a community, and a bigger community than we had before, is because of the game we were playing and my efforts to become integrated with that community, and my efforts to get to know people involved in it. And I had a great time doing that. So I'm in no doubt that marbles was a catalyst. Whether we would have got there in the end or not, I don't know. We'll never know, because it's happened. We are partnered on Twitch now. It's one of those things. I'll never know if we will have got there without it. But I think it was a catalyst, and it helped us get there a little bit sooner. So I just want to say, like, marbles has been a hugely amazing thing in my previous journey. But the one thing I always said with marbles on stream, for me, was that it was a medicinal game. So whenever I was playing it, it relaxed me, because I could see, for me, watching the marbles roll down the track, watching people joining in, that sort of stuff, that was my medicine. I enjoyed it. It made me feel good. It made me feel happy, and it made me feel relaxed. But I always said, if it got to a point where I felt that wasn't the case anymore, that marbles on stream wasn't the medicine that I needed to be when I needed it. And I've always been a streamer and a person, a man, a human that has suffered with mental health and suffered with things behind the scenes. And as soon as the game that I was playing on stream started to become a contributor to what I felt were my own personal mental health issues, I would start to take a move away from it. That's what's happened for me. And that's why I'm now taking this move away. Now, there are a couple of things that I believe are contributors to these mental issues that I'm starting to feel from the game. And the ones that I listed in my twit longer were a couple of things like, the first, I'll go through them in order. These aren't in priority order, but I will go through them in order. So one of the things was the grind meta, the 1 minute tracks, 10, 15, 20 second timers, another 1 minute track. And it feels as though if you become a streamer with marbles on stream, the first thing that happens when you open the game is that you see the top 20 streamers on the game. Depending on your resolution, you might only see 10 if you're on a Nokia 3310 or something, but you see the top streamers in the game. So immediately the game shows you what it feels is a priority thing. So you see the top streamers and you think, okay, how are they doing that? And the way that they're getting there, and this applies to all of the streamers in there, all of them, they're all doing, for the most part, they're all doing very short tracks above the 1 minute time. So a minute 1 second, a minute 2 seconds, whatever. They're all doing that. They're all doing quick timers, and they're doing as many as possible. That is okay up until, in order to try and achieve those levels that the game shows you at the very first moment you open it, you realize that not only do you have to do that, but you have to do it for an extraordinary amount of time. If you start off as a marbles on stream streamer, you're not going to have a well-established marbles community, so you immediately put yourself at a disadvantage to anybody trying to get to those top spots. So if you have something that's established, for example, DMP3, when he streamed marbles on stream, he didn't have to do that. He had 1,000 marbles on the track every single time he raced. He did 3 or 4 hours. That was enough to push DMP to the top spots. Now DMP isn't playing this. We have communities that consist of between, I would say, 60 to 100 viewers, 60 to 100 marbles on the track, that sort of thing. It hovers around that sort of level. And at those sort of numbers, streamers are competing against each other to see who can go the longest to earn their top spots in the boards, because it's the first thing it shows you. There isn't any way to avoid it when you load up the game. You can't turn it off. You can't disable the ability to see the leaderboard. So it is the very first thing you witness. This is the leaderboard. These are the best players. The thing with marbles on stream is it's not a skill-based game. So in order to climb to those ranks of being one of the top spots, there is nothing you can do to get there other than go quickly as often as possible with as many people as you can. If you don't have as many marbles as the other person going for those spots, you have to go longer than them. If you have more marbles than them, fine, you can go for less time, but then the person below you starts to catch up, so you need to go longer than them. And it starts this everlasting cycle of, well, this person's doing 24 hours today, so I can't stop for 27. And then that person sees, well, they're still on, I've got to keep going. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that a streamer feels like they have to keep going for longer because they're trying to get to those top spots. Now, it's very easy to sit there and say, well, streamers don't have to go for the top spots. And I agree. Streamers do not have to go for those top spots. But if you're not going for one of the top spots, people don't want to race with you because they don't know who you are. And their chances of scoring a lot of points are limited because they don't think you're going to go for 100, 150, 200, 250 races. So it starts to become, if you're not already one of those, if you're not competing for the top spots, you don't stand a chance of getting there anyway, and you're not going to bring in a viewership other than your already established community, or maybe one or two people that happen to stumble across you and think, well, there's some easy points. And it's because it's set up in a way that means that the more viewers you have, the easier it is to get there, and therefore if you have less viewers, people won't join the races because there's not as many points on offer, and it starts to become this cycle that if you're not already established with marbles, to get into marbles now and establish a viewership is difficult. One of the things that is perceived as an option and thing you can do is to create an event or create something special or something completely different, and that is also okay. However, one of the things that brings people into these different streams, and I'm gonna name him here. I wouldn't usually do this, and I'm not saying this in a critical way, but there is a streamer called Cam on the Cob that we all know does death tracks on marbles on streams, only challenge tracks. But Cam on the Cob is doing, or has to do, or feels like he has to do, $20 if you finish one of the tracks. And there's now become this perception that in order to try and grow with marbles on stream, we had to do it to get partnered. In order to try and grow on marbles on stream, you have to be giving something away. So you have to either have the points on offer for people to come in the first place so you can climb to the top spots of the leaderboard, or you need to be giving away a financial contribution to people or a financial reward to people for racing with you or winning or something like that. So if you're doing the points-based grind system, the points-based grinding of marbles, you get grinders in there, people that know about marbles, people that know about the leaderboards. If you do a giveaway situation, you don't get those because they're not interested in it, or you're not going fast enough, or they don't know who you are anyway. So then you've got these weird two communities, one based of grinders that can still give away the money, that can still do that and still try and increase their viewership that way. Or you can also have the people that aren't doing points and are just giving away money, but then people are only coming in for the money. If you are in a weird situation where you can't grind the top spots on the boards because of time or whatever, and I'll get onto the can't versus don't want to in a minute. If you're in that situation where you aren't going for the top spots and you also can't give away money, which a lot of streamers when they first start marbles, they're affiliated or not affiliated, they want to try and get there, can't afford to be giving away the money, you're left in this weird sort of purgatory where people won't come to you for points, they also won't come to you for giveaways. So the only thing that you're going to get people in for is if they already know who you are, so they're already part of your community, or it's just random chance of them coming into your stream. It seems like the way to grow in marbles at the moment is you either have to be one of the top 3 on the leaderboards, and we've seen that with someone like the Tony Blacks, who's relatively new to marbles on stream and has come in, or you grow content. Yeah, Spoo, I completely understand. You can grow content, but in my opinion, what that means is you try and grow your content in something other than marbles on stream, then bring them over to it, which is what I did. I grew my content outside of marbles on stream, then came into marbles on stream and continued to push it from there because it would allow us to have an already established community of people. But just to say to someone you need to grow content, you can say that, but then when you create an event for the first time, if nobody knows who you are, or they're not interested, or for whatever reason, if it doesn't grow, what's your next option? It's very, very easy to say to someone, just grow your content, but there's nothing actionable there. Like you could, let's take it down to a personal level. For me, I know I'm an overweight guy. You could say to me, you could just lose weight. Yeah, I could, but unless I know how to do that, unless I have some sort of advice on how to do that, then it's going to be extremely difficult. Yeah, I could go out and do my own research on how to lose it, and because there's a scientific fact behind that. In order to grow content on marbles, there isn't a scientific fact on how to do it. So the main events that start to grow and become a big thing are from already established marble streamers. It's very, very rare that you see an unestablished marble streamer. By unestablished, I mean somebody who's not in the top 50, not in the top 100, whatever, hasn't been around the community for long. All of a sudden, they have an event and they grow based on that event. it takes them already to be established before they can create one of these events that keeps growing. Now, at Sportscast, I see you agreeing with Spoo, and I completely get it, but what you had already, for someone like yourself, you already had an established Marbles community, an established stream going on. Then you started with the events, and obviously then you got a sponsored event, that sort of stuff, and it's all the snowball effect from already having established the community in the first place. My issue with it is that when someone like myself, for example, loads on to Marbles on stream, you are immediately presented with this feeling that you have to grind the game. Now, it's easy to say you don't have to, but the game shows you that you do. The first thing you see is the leaderboard, and you see your XP for a streamer as how you can get to the next one. Now, anyone who doesn't know that the home screen on Marbles on stream as a streamer, when you open the game, it shows you your streamer XP and how close you are to the next XP level. For every XP level you hit, you get free pixel by pixel coins. Now, without going into the finances behind the scenes, pixel coins, they're not cheap, and you guys will know this, they're not cheap. So it's deemed as, okay, I've got to get to the next XP level. How do I do that? Okay, I've got to do this many races. Okay, I've got to get this many people in. It becomes about numbers immediately. The second you load in, you're bombarded with numbers and leaderboards and all this sort of stuff. So as much as you guys can say we don't encourage the grind, you're also not doing anything to discourage it, because it's the first thing you're shown. And when you get to the point where at the end of the season, when it all finishes, you see from the viewer situation in Marbles on stream, the top 50 viewers are given a reward. They're given a gem run that they can take into the next season and say, I achieved that, that's brilliant. But only the top 50 viewers and top 3 streamers are given any sort of reward. I know this season is slightly different because Dark Madden got an emote for whatever reason, I don't know, nobody seems to know, but that's what happened. So maybe top 4 now. So the person who finished in 5th doesn't get anything for their time and their efforts. And it's almost very disregarding of the effort that they put into it in order to go through that sort of length of time to stream and get people in there and grind their tracks, to then say, you finished 5th, you get nothing. Why isn't it the top 10? Why isn't the top 20? If you open the game and you're showing people the top 20, why aren't they getting any sort of reward from their efforts? Why are the top 50 viewers rewarded, but only the top 3 streamers? So then you get this repeating cycle of it's the same top 3, and it has been. It's been people like LT to Delusion, it's been the Tony Blacks for the last few seasons. There's other people that are up there, but it's always a competition between the same ones. And it's the ones who can dedicate the most time to it and the ones who can do this. So yeah, I heard you say, obviously, I heard you say on Raw, well, you're only hating on the grind because you can't do it. And part of that is a little bit of truth, but the other part of it is you shouldn't have to be able to dedicate all of your time. Like, are Marbles players being punished for having commitments outside of the game? And the only reason I say that is if I wanted to get really, really good at something like, I don't want to because I don't like it, but if I was to get really good at something like Fortnite or Warzone or any sort of shooter or anything like that, a skill-based game, I could dedicate a few hours every day to doing it. Like, I can dedicate a few hours every day to Marbles if I wanted to, but that's not enough to move up at all. Trains, thank you for the 100 bits, I appreciate it, man. That's not enough in Marbles to get anywhere near the top spots. In Call of Duty, you can have a natural talent, you can have something, an innate ability to be able to improve and grow, and if you don't have that, you're going to have to put in more time and more effort. I completely understand that, but there is the possibility to have that innate ability to succeed and to be better and to improve your skill that way. But because Marbles is not a skill-based game, it's a time-based game, you then see so many people thinking, well, I want to be top 3, what do I need to do that? And then they'll look at the people that can do it, and it starts to really, really cycle through. I tried really hard to be the best at Fortnite. I didn't get anything. I put in a lot of time, but my stream grew a bit from it, and I learned a lot, and that helped my stream tremendously. Well, but there you go. This is what I'm saying. You didn't achieve it. You grew. But you did get a bit better at Fortnite. That's fine. But there isn't a way to be better at Marbles. There just isn't. The only thing you can do is dedicate more time to it. You can improve your ability as a streamer, as a content creator. I feel like I've done that. My ability to speak and be verbose and eloquent, hopefully at the same time. I feel like I've done that. And in that regard, this is why I'm showing respect to Marbles as a game, because it has helped me, and I know it's helped this community. I know it's helped this platform for me. But my issues have come from the fact that I no longer see it as the medicine it used to be for the reasons that I'm talking about now. SCS, I didn't need an emote in the game or skin to grow my channel. No, nor did I. But it's... I don't really get your point. I literally don't get your point. Nobody needs that stuff to grow your channel. I'm not on about growing your channel. I'm talking about the game. If you think that's what it takes as a successful Marvel streamer, you're already failing. Well, I mean, if you think I'm failing, that's honestly fine. I don't care about having my stuff in the game. I care about being able to format a community that cares about the streamer and the community that is around it. I feel like you're missing the point. It's a matter of choice. We encourage cranking, we encourage not cranking. Do what feels best to you, just like every game. But you don't discourage cranking. I think that's the issue that I'm feeling, and I feel like a few other people are feeling it, but they can't say it. For whatever reason, they feel like they can't say it. It isn't discouraged because you load up the game and you see it straight away. Someone mentioned earlier about when you create tracks. I'm sorry I haven't read too much of the chat because obviously I've got quite a lot to say about a few things. Let me have a look. I'm just going to scroll up and try and catch on a few things before I move on. Cam plays games. I agree. As a track builder, it's been pretty devastating to see almost everyone stop playing your maps because they aren't meta enough. Mate, I completely agree. Completely agree. So if you are a track creator, you have two options. At the moment, in my opinion, you're either creating a challenge map or you're creating a meta track. If you're creating a 3-minute track that doesn't kill everybody, then it's just going to get buried. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't take talent to make these well-working 1-minute tracks. I'm not saying it doesn't take an ability, and it really does. It does take ability. I've built a couple myself. I know what it's like. But even as a creative substance of marbles, and a lot of marbles on stream is the community maps. That's what helps to bring it up, and that's what helps to showcase talent out there, creative talent out there. But that creative talent is also getting buried because the meta it's failing the game. And I think that's what my issue has come from. It isn't that the game itself is inherently bad. I think the meta that's formed around the game is failing it. And they're not helping each other out. One isn't pushing the other. I mean, I've said before, there's a couple of things, and I don't know the ins and outs or mechanics of how this would possibly be a thing, because I don't work for the studio. I don't know. But if, for example, a few seasons ago, I believe that the limit on races that a streamer could do per day was 96 or something around that. And then it was 100, then 150. Now it's, God knows what, 250. It's encouraging, by increasing that, it's encouraging the feeling that that's the number you need to get to. And I don't understand how you can say we're not encouraging the grind, but you are literally telling people you need to do more races before you stop earning energy. It's a very literal, this is the amount of races you should be doing this season. And as soon as it gets announced, you might not see it that way, but as soon as it gets announced every single season, the grind streamer's thinking, awesome, I'm going to do 250, I'm going to do 500, I'm going to double check mark everybody at 250 races. And people are saying that. Whether you're seeing it or not, I don't know, but people are saying that. Crazy Kitten, thanks for the raid, by the way, I appreciate it. Honestly, that's amazing. Thank you very much for being here. The next point that I mentioned was, it's a bit of, this is in my opinion the most controversial thing that I probably said in this, is the reduction in opportunities for certain streamers. Now, I haven't personally said these words, this hasn't come from me. It has been brought up previously from people who have either moved on from marbles or are still in marbles, that it feels like there is a connected club of people that will be given opportunities above and beyond other streamers. And that's a difficult thing to hear as a streamer who is trying to get a foothold in the game and to potentially grow and do bigger things for the community. What's up, Cheesy? Welcome aboard, mate. Welcome aboard. I cannot, obviously I said it in my tweet longer, I can't say that with a fact. I may be completely wrong on it even existing in the first place, but it feels like there is. It feels like the same streamers are given the opportunities above and beyond others. One example I can put forward to you right now is that I spoke to Spoo about 2 weeks ago, and I said to Spoo, hey, look, I'd love to come onto Raw and have a discussion and we'll chat about something. And Spoo's response immediately was, yeah, cool, awesome, man, let's set it up. 2 days later, the Tony Blacks is on there for the second or third time. Now, Tony Blacks is such a nice guy. He's an amazing guy. I've had plenty of conversations with him. But how is it happening that the same streamer is given the same opportunity 3 times when other streamers aren't given that opportunity at all? When a lot of streamers do have a lot to say and they are able to discuss things and they will reach out and say, hey, look, I'd love to do it. what qualifies someone to get that opportunity once when someone else has been given it 3 times? And I'm struggling to understand why it feels like, and the way I worded it is, it feels like you're in a club, but you don't have a ticket for the VIP area. And no matter what you are and what you do, you can never get into the VIP area without that ticket. There was a mess up in another guest schedule and Tony was there and offered to fill in. But I didn't know there was a mess up in another guest schedule. Like, I'm going to assume that you reached out to Tony, or he knew about it. But this is the thing. If you say knowledge is power, not jumping to conclusions. No, I'm not jumping to a conclusion on it. What I'm saying is, if that knowledge isn't made available for anyone, like there could have been an announcement in the Discord that said, yo, everyone, we've had an issue with Raw tonight. Do we have anyone available? Open it up. Because it feels so secluded right now that the same people are given the opportunity because it isn't being opened up to anyone else. Now, the fact that Tony even knows that there was a problem with the schedule in the first place means that they know something that the other streamers don't. Like you basically just confirmed it that somebody knew about something. He was there when I was live and talking about it. I mean, fine. Then I obviously can't question if someone was in there. It was a last minute thing, right? I get you. But even before this, when we'd said yeah, absolutely, and I literally said to you, name your time, I'm there. I never heard back on this. So a couple of things that has been pointed out in the Marbles community before is if you come to us with something, we'll sort it out. We'll help you out. We'll let you know. And in that instance, I didn't feel like that was the case. And then it's heart-wrenching to see that the next time on a Monday someone else has got it again. But that doesn't explain it. Was that? I'm gonna fact check on this one because I don't know. Was that Tony's second or third time on Raw? Because I know that I'm fairly sure his first time was when he was unmasked, so to speak. I don't know. I still have you on my mind. Why does it have to be instant? There's a lot going on in a lot of people's lives. 100% there is, and I will never question. That's part of what I'm talking about in here. There's a lot going on in people's lives that mean they cannot do that sort of stuff. It's the second time. Right, understood. It's more, now you've explained it to me, it's more understandable, and I do appreciate you explaining that. I still think there was the potential when you know. The second he was unmasked on SCS, thank you, not Ferrari, I appreciate that. Thank you for the fact check. I still think there could be the opportunity to say to people, hey, we've got this chance. When we say working with new people can be hard, especially for me, I like to prepare, and that's also cool, But we've spoken a lot, like, you know who, like, I'm not trying to blow my intro, I'm not trying to make myself sound like a narcissistic prick, even though it probably will sound this way. You know who I am. I'm not invisible, like, it's You're aware of who I am and my desire to have been on Raw. Like, I'll be honest, it's probably not going to happen now for various reasons that is not worth me going into right now. But still, I think the opportunity was there. There are many people I'd like to have on Raw. I didn't think I was that popular and a desire of a thing. It's the #1 Marbles podcast. It's the #1 thing that people talk about. I like Woot Raw. This is nice. Thank you, Spoo. And honestly, as I said earlier, thank you for contributing to this. Even though we disagree, and we're obviously going to disagree on this one, if we're phrasing it like adults, we're having a conversation. I'm taking on board what you're saying, the things that I didn't know, and you're telling me, and I'm hopefully telling you how that makes us feel. So I appreciate it. Honestly, I really do. I just think it could have been a case of, because you were aware that I wanted to be on it, just a DM on Discord saying, yo, dude, you free? Do you want to come on Raw? Now, I know you're saying you wanted to prepare in advance, and that's fine. I do get that. When you have a podcast, you don't want someone to come in and hijack everything or say something stupid. You need to be aware that people are going to be able to come on there and you can trust them. I get it. I do. I get it. So on that note, fine. Understood. Completely, like, accepted. I get it. That's fine. So that takes me on to my third point. It's obviously to disagree. It'd be against your professional interest to disagree. Who's that? Who are you talking to on that one, Ryan? Is that aimed at me or Spoo? I remind everyone in the chat. Please do keep it respectful. I get it too. I could have DM'd. Honestly, thank you for accepting that was a possibility and an option. Like, I appreciate it, man. Life is busy, 100%, and that forms the basis of this. I'm still too bright and shiny, by the way. I think I'm panicking. It brings me on to my next point, and that is Marbles on stream, especially the cranking streams. Now, regardless of whether you feel like you need to crank or don't, the cranking streams are difficult because, especially for people who do and have suffered from imposter syndrome or feeling like you don't deserve to be where you are. That's a really prevalent thing with Twitch streamers, really prevalent. I feel like it is exacerbated by grinding streams or people effectively using you only for the points they can get in a game, rather than because of what you can offer as a human being. And for someone whose entire goal and goal and ambition with streaming is to provide the empathy, to provide the place where we can have one mind, that sort of stuff, it's painful when the second that you mentioned that you're either not grinding or you're doing something different or whatever, somebody who has spent so much time with you and effectively used your stream for their purpose of getting points immediately cast you to one side. Is that a flaw in Marbles? I don't know. But I think it's exacerbated by the situation that I feel like Marbles is creating. Because you can, oh, what do I win? It's the most heartbreaking question you can ever get asked as a streamer, ever, on Marbles on stream. And please don't name any names. I'm not going to. I would hopefully respect you guys not to do it either. But you get the same people come into your stream and say, what can I win by racing this? And Marbles is now seen as such a fast track into giveaways and finances and prizes and stuff that it's what people come to expect every time they go into a Marble stream. Because for the previous reasons, you're either a cranker or you're giving stuff away. And it's difficult. And the way I phrased it is points, not people. And the reason I phrased it that way is because it genuinely does feel as though there are times where you and your own feeling and your own personality and your own hard work behind the scenes, because streamers know this is hard work. This one was alright, I'm just sitting chilling. But when you're creating events or creating things behind the scenes, it is hard work. So when it feels completely unappreciated because the second you step out of line or don't do 100 races or accidentally screw up energy, which is never the streamer's fault, by the way. If you accidentally do something like that, you are immediately discarded, cast aside, you are useless to someone, and it plays on the imposter syndrome so bad that it really does start to break someone down. So for me, as someone who does suffer from a real fear of rejection and a fear of failure and that sort of stuff, it's hard. And that's when, for example, you thankfully gave me the opportunity to do Marble Fest, and that was fantastic. I did Marble Fest on my birthday. I did it that morning. There was something like 400 and something people here. I then streamed later on in the day playing Marbles on stream, and I averaged 32 viewers that day, whereas my average at the time was 60, 70, something like that. So in one day, it's very, very clear that a lot of people are going to the stream just to win a prize, but they don't really give a shit about the person giving it away. And fair enough. A lot of people won't appreciate your content, and that is okay. Nobody has to like everybody. But when it does start to feel as though nobody appreciates what you do, and that's how Marbles has made me feel now, it becomes painful. So let me explain this to you. So in over a year, I'd only ever streamed Marbles on Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Only ever done that. Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. It was 3 Marble streams a week. That's all I did for a year. A few weeks ago, I did the first Balls Out Just Chatting stream on a Monday. That stream was the first time in over a year that I got a cumulative loss of followers in one stream. And I didn't make enough in that stream to pay for the electricity I'd used to do it. And I know it's not about money. I know it's not. My average was something like 30, and the previous week in Marbles, like the day before in Marbles, we'd average like 130, and we averaged 30 that day. And it's the immediate feeling that there were, and I don't look at my numbers during the stream. I do not. I don't even check them after anymore. I just delete the email that comes through. This isn't about numbers. It's about the feeling that is created by being only used as a points receptacle for somebody. The day you go live after a day of 130 average, the day after, and that wasn't a tournament, it was just a thing, it was just a Marble stream. The day after, you know that 100 people don't really give a shit about you. And it is remarkably difficult for somebody who's, especially somebody who's suffered from mental health issues before, remarkably difficult to feel that and not take it personally. And I think there's people in the chat right now that are thinking, you know what, the same. And Pandemania mentioned having an event with Rossi, and then the next day 10 people are there. It's really hard to know that few people give a shit, or not that few people, but that disparity between people that do and people that don't. It's hard to take. I grew the Wootball from nothing, just a fake trophy and fake celebration. Now that it's a real thing, it's amazing, but it didn't start like that. It started from nothing and not able to give anything. So I made something fake and fun. Okay, do we have the ability to make a marble in Marbles on Stream, or is that an opportunity that's given to you because you work for them? I mean, I can do Survivor Sunday till I'm blue in the face. I'm not getting a marble in the game. I'm not getting a genuine prize to give away. It's been asked countless times that here we go, here is this. There used to be the opportunity to get your marble in the game. You had to pay for it, but there used to be the opportunity to get your marble in the game. That was taken away. It's now not possible to do that until all of a sudden someone is given their marble in the game, but no one else is given the chance to get one. And it's heartbreaking to see those opportunities given when people have worked really, really hard and then just given something that nobody else has the opportunity to even get in the first place, no matter how hard they've worked on the game. Everyone has the chance, our Sportscast squad. Right, but there's no information about how we get that chance. What do we need to do? Because until you tell people what they need to do, you're leaving them in quandary. And it's starting to make people suffer. That is the thing. That is the lack of information people are given. I don't create checks in the box. I'm not asking you to. I'm asking every streamer that's creating an event on Marbles is just asking for potentially just a little bit of advice on what would help it to be more recognizable. And I know that it's mostly down to our own creativity. I understand that. I created Survivor Sunday. You are, what do I need to do? But when you see an event that, and in all fairness to Sportscast Squad, I haven't been to Happy Hour. I've heard things about it. When you see an event that is being run and you think, well, I'm doing something that's very, like, either similar or different enough to be still just as achievable, why is it one and not the other? It's not, okay, let me rephrase it. It's not about what do I need to do. It's what have they done that we haven't? And that's a very, very different question to ask, and it is something that's mentally very taxing when there doesn't appear to be anything other than a close connection or a conversational connection to the studio. Why not just grow your stream and dominate? You never know what will happen. You shouldn't be expectant. It's not mate, this is the thing. It's not about being expectant. It's about knowing that there is the possibility. I'm not expecting anything to come from Survivor Sunday. Nothing. At the moment, I don't know if I'm running it again, but I never expected anything to come of it. I asked if there was a possibility that it might happen, but that doesn't mean I was expecting it to happen. But it feels like it was, in a way, like not taken as anything even slightly serious. Stop thinking about the games, think about your stream. The reason we were streaming is for the game, though. Like, you can say stop thinking about the game is, if you're a Marble streamer, the game is the stream. You are presenting the game in your way, for sure, but without the game, you're not streaming Marbles on Stream, and this discussion doesn't even happen in the first place. The entire reason that I'm moving away from Marbles on Stream is because I feel like it's affecting the stream, because it's affecting me. It's like, whatever game you play is the stream then? Yeah, I don't think anyone's disagreeing with that, but this conversation, it stems from Marbles and the way that the reason that I'm moving away from streaming it's a bit of a straw man argument to say that I'm not thinking about the stream when the entire reason I'm doing this is to improve my content and my mood. Because I feel it's the way how Marbles has made me feel. Should just move on to something else and play what you enjoy. That's exactly what I'm doing, Pro Bear. And I made the point. I announced to my community, my followers on Twitter. I didn't tag anyone in this. It wasn't designed for anybody to suddenly go, oh my god, heard let's all come at Woot somewhere. But it turned into that. It was announced to my followers. Anyone following me on Twitter can see that, regardless of whether you watch the streams or not. I needed to have a way to tell the community that the next time they come to the stream, it probably won't be Marbles, because a lot of them have followed during the growth of the stream that was due to Marbles, or in part to Marbles as the content I was creating. A lot of people will have followed at that time. So it's just fair to them to say, hey, look, the community that you knew, the community that you came for and hopefully fell in love with is changing it up a bit. This is why. This is what I'm possibly moving into. I feel like that's just respectful to the community that were there in the first place. Now, I heard a couple of people say, you don't have to announce your departure. Like, I'm not announcing my departure. In no way am I sitting there going, everybody pay me some attention, I'm leaving Marbles. It's me saying, hey, look, this game doesn't do what I need it to do for me anymore. I'm going to move on. This is the reason why. Either you agree with it or you don't. That's fine. What's up, London Rain? Thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. It was never intended to be a departure announcement. It was turned into that. And I unfortunately had to leave the Raw stream after around about 15 to 20 minutes. Now, I was able to get across a couple of things that I wanted to say. It was respectful at all times, but I had to leave the Raw stream for two reasons. One, I was about to go out, and two, I was being sent messages from other people saying, yo, they're shitting on you on Raw. And why is that a thing that should happen? Why can't it be a case of you take what I've said and you either agree with it or not and change things behind the scenes or don't, and then we just move on? I don't understand why it became something that needed to be brought into a dog pile, because that's, from what I'm being told, that's what happened. I've had to have several people message me in private to say, yo, dude, I'm sorry. There is an element of this game that is starting to hurt people mentally, and stuff like that is contributing to it. And if you can't see that, that is not a nice thing. People are telling me I'm getting shit on right now. I'm not shitting on you personally. Like, I barely even mention your name. I'm telling you my opinion on the game, not my opinion on you. I have said nothing but nice things about you personally, Spoo. I've said that we're very respectful to each other. We have these conversations. I don't agree with your opinion, but that's okay. But in no way am I shitting on you as a person. I just disagree with you. In my opinion, I've been nothing but respectful through this whole thing. The whole twit longer was prefaced with, look, this is not about the players, it's not about the devs, it's about the mechanics behind the game and how I don't think it's helping with mental health situations. It is okay to agree to disagree. Absolutely, London Rain, it is. I fully respect what you've done. I respect your hard work. I respect what you've done with the game, and I thank you for the game that has helped me out so much in the past. I just disagree with you. Feel like you've been ignored. No one's been ignored, Trains. It's just a deep conversation. I will read back through all the chat in a little bit. I'm gonna like, hopefully I'll check it in VODs as well, because I know there's a lot I'm missing. You guys are obviously free to talk to each other, as long as you please keep it respectful as much as you can. That would be incredible. Yeah, just always have respect for each other, you guys. That's all I ask. And it is like Yusuf Ali has raised a really good point, and I think other people have experienced this before as well. The conversation always seems to be, you can't criticize what we're doing, because if you don't like it, just don't play it. But the only reason we're criticizing it and hoping to be constructive in that way is to get it to a place where it can be and it could be for the community. But it feels at the moment like Marbles is less about the community and more about certain streamers, and it's a strange thing. When I started with Marbles, it felt like this amazing community. Then Community Day was taken away for reasons, it's still a little bit vague, but there was reasons why Community Day was taken away. One of the things that was touted is, we don't want Marbles to be about prizes anymore. But you're giving people marble skins that people can win, and then Marble Fest is a 36-hour event, or around about 36-hour event, where there are 4 evolving skin prizes. So if you want that 4 evolved skin, you need to be there from minute 1 to hour 36 if you want them all. If you don't get lucky enough, and then you might not get it. And if you don't get it, well, you can give us money by buying a t-shirt to get the skin. And it's very, very strange that something is taken away so that people aren't seeing it as a prize-winning thing, and then turn the official events of the game into a prize and money spinner. It's real. It seems hypocritical. Now, I'm gonna ask you open and honest about this. Why is that? Because I don't want to just assume. I'm asking you, why is Community Day taken away to make it less about the prizes, but then Marble Fest is brought in to make it about prizes and earning money from it? Your community is what you make it. I completely agree. I've never said otherwise. At this point, I genuinely don't know what you're arguing. I've never said otherwise. But if you're saying your community is what you make it, to tell members of your community that happen to want a game to improve just to leave, I don't think is the way to foster a good community. What it does foster is an echo chamber of people who are always going to believe that everything you do is correct, because anybody that disagrees is told to leave. And it's a one-way system into effectively doing whatever you want, and everyone's going to agree because they always have and always will. It's like they're conditioned into agreeing, because if they don't, then just leave. Community Day was taken away because it was affecting creativity in the community. It became mundane. I was attempting to make changes with it, then Pixel decided to drop it. Right, I understand. But then we go into Marble Fest, which for the majority of Marble Fest is 16 tracks. Done the same as the tournaments used to do. You've got 2 hours, do what you want with it. But it's not, I would say there was maybe 3 or 4 streamers in Marble Fest that did anything other than, here you go, just race, get some points, get a skin, see you later, thanks for the average. If it is about the creativity, look for the creativity. Look at what people are doing with the creativity. Instead of just saying, here's 36 hours, here you go, you can win an evolving skin. It used to be 1 skin, it used to be 1, so if you won it straight away, that was it. And it all ties hand in hand into the game being quite, in my opinion, this is my opinion, of course, this is all my opinion, it is quite damaging, or potentially damaging, to people's potential mental health. Even if they won't admit it, marathon streams are not good for people. They're not. And not only when you're doing a marathon stream, but also nobody's talking to you because they're putting exclamation play in the chat no matter how hard you try. And you can see it. I've seen it with other streamers where I've gone into their stream and they're banging out average viewers, banging them left and right, viewers everywhere, absolutely everywhere. Nobody said a word to them other than exclamation play. 3 hours later, the streamer's thinking, well, I'm bored, and I'm bored doing it because no matter how hard I try, nobody's responding because they're in here and 8 other streamers doing exactly the same thing. Not because they don't want to talk to the streamer, but because they have to do that in order to climb the leaderboards that are presented to them as something they need to achieve. Serious question, if you do a 1 minute race, 50 marbles and win, do you get the same amount of points if you do a 10-minute race, 50 marble race? I don't know 100%. I just know that you can do 10 1-minute races in the time you could do 1 10-minute race, which is why nobody's doing 10-minute races to climb leaderboards. And racers won't do it because they can get 10 races in a time when they could just do 1. But that whole situation of not being, hang on. To be fair, if mental health is being affected, then it's best to leave that said game, whether it was something you love or not. And that's what I'm in the process of saying that I'm doing. But it was taken into another platform, and I've just got DMs out the wazoo of people effectively calling me a prick for daring to speak out against something that I'm noticing and witnessing happening. I will preface that, I will be honest, in no way has that been encouraged or asked for by anyone at Marbles on Stream or at Pixel by Pixel Studios. Nobody there has asked for this. People are doing it from their own feelings. So please don't take that at Spoo or Pixel. I would ask you kindly. They have done nothing to encourage that. But I am getting shit from people in Marbles on Stream because I dared to say something that I don't like about it. This is what I mean by it starts to become an echo chamber of you are only surrounding yourself with people who agree with you, and anyone that doesn't agree is asked to leave. Or it literally becomes that, play something else then. But why? But I want to play marbles. I enjoy marbles. So you want people are only telling you that stuff. I love hearing it all. What do you mean, Spoo? What do you mean? You love hearing like abuse from people? Hopefully that's not what you're saying. I really hope so. Is it a case of marbles not being fun for you anymore? Oh no, right. Know my opinions. Sorry, Spook. Can you put it in context? I'm so sorry, man. I don't quite get like the train of thought behind what we were talking about. Why do we limit the viewers with energy, but there's no limit for streamers? Remember when we didn't have energy and people would just crank for days at a time, and the discussion at the time was promoting a healthy playstyle? I'll come on to what I think could possibly be a thing in future, but he's basically saying you have a voice your opinions, and let your feeling out. I am doing, but I'm being as respectful as humanly possible, because there are people that don't deserve to get shit just because a game isn't what I want it to be. I just want them to listen into why it's not what I want it to be. I felt great when I showed up at tourneys or even the December events and there were creative ideas and people enjoyed them as a viewer and a streamer. Even if the prize was only 300 coins, everyone had a chance at an event. It's been more pick and choose since, but that's the choice of the studios. Yeah, it is. People are afraid to talk and they shouldn't be. Lots of people are passionate about marbles too and the decisions that are made. People are afraid to leave because of This is not, in no way is this an attack. You know, and I know, and Pixel knows that Pixel is very, very outspoken and blunt in DMs. Can we just agree with that one? We know this, and it's not a surprise to anyone when we get that. He calls a spade a spade. He is going to like say it exactly. Agreed. Thank you. And I think a lot of the reason why is because you are quite defensive over something that you've obviously put a lot of time and passion and creation into, which is, you absolutely should be. Like, I would expect you to be defensive over it, but we don't, because of the bluntness and the forthcomingness. We don't know if what we're saying will lead to a click of a button and we can't play marbles anymore. And I know that's been the case for some streamers out there, that they don't want to tell you how they feel about it. And I'm not going to name names. It's up to them. If they want to, they can do. It's not up to me to tell you. If they feel like they can't say something because they are worried about it impacting their stream, therefore their career, and therefore their finances. And I think that's where there is a little bit there's a need for more transparency at times between the studio and the community, because without players, the community doesn't exist. Without streamers, the community doesn't exist. But I don't feel like they're working hand in hand. No one gets banned for saying they don't like the game. They get banned for harassment towards the community. Well, I mean, I've never been banned. I'll be honest, I do not expect in any way to be banned by what we're talking about, because I'm trying to give you the utmost respect that you deserve, and hopefully I deserve, which is why you're here talking to me. I have no question that I'm not going to get banned from streaming marbles on stream or playing marbles on stream. I don't think you guys are vindictive. I just think that some people are... Wait, I just said it? No, I said that people are concerned that they might be. Not that it happens. I'm saying that they are concerned that they might be. Honestly, I would appreciate not putting words into my mouth. I never said that anyone's been banned for talking bad things about the game, but people are afraid that they might be because of the general demeanor when an issue is brought to the studio. The taking away of tournaments... hang on. Why would you be concerned if it's never happened? I've never been shot. I'm still afraid of being shot. The taking away of tournaments is to encourage people to push their creativeness, not just to purchase a way to give things away. Right, it is, but it becomes... people do see it as that. People do see, if you have a tournament, it's the opportunity to give something away to increase your average, and it works hand in hand with Twitch and average viewers and the requirement for average viewers, which I know, and me and Pixel have spoken about this, because like it's not in your control if you get the viewers or not. It still hurts, but it's not in your control. But it is a thing that seems to work hand in hand, that if you get a tournament, you can give something away, you're gonna heighten your average. So you feel like the desire is that you need to give something away. So I just stopped talking to people because I have a loaded ban button? No, I'm not asking you to stop talking to people. I'm explaining to you why people feel like they may not be open and honest about some of the ways they're feeling, because they are concerned that when you're speaking to the head of a studio, you have all of the power. Whether you actually do or not, it's how it is presented to it. You're effectively the boss of it, Mike. So if people are coming to you with an issue, but they feel like it is quite either controversial or you don't agree, there isn't a way to continue to say, hey, I disagree, and you just be like, no, I disagree too, because then it starts to feel like it might get heated and result in it, so people don't come to you in the first place. Question for you: do you feel if you carried on grinding hard, achieving the top 10 each season, you'd have more influence on the community and therefore more opportunities to change what needs to be changed to create a more constructive community? In all honesty, I don't know, because I don't have the desire or the mental capacity to be able to push for a top 10 or top 3 spot. Top 10, I'm fairly sure I could achieve top 10. I mean, I'm not bothered about it because it's not worth anything. But it only becomes worth something at top 3, which I know I'm not going to get because I don't want to and can't and don't have the time, so I'm not going to. But if I did have the time, I don't think I would, because there's a few things that I'm talking about that are a struggle. And do I think I'd have more influence? I don't think it matters where up the leaderboards you finish in order to get any influence, if I'm being completely honest. I think it matters who you are. And again, I cannot confirm this, and this is what I spoke about in the twit longer. I may be completely wrong on its existence. That's just how it feels. Grinding for top 10 is a lot of hours. That shouldn't be somebody's goal, but it's presented that way, in my opinion. It is about fun and community for the streamer. That's why we're even having this discussion. The game isn't fun when the viewers just want prizes and points. That leads me, thank you Darcy Joe, that leads me nicely onto the next point that I raised in my tweet longer, that marbles on stream, when you are, it's really weird. When you're doing well on marbles on stream, it feels stupidly lonely. Because to do well in the game, you need to be grinding the game. And by grinding the game, you need to go quickly. And by going quickly, you get people who are there only for points. And it feels really lonely. Hang on. So what I was talking about is the loneliness that it can feel as a grinder or someone on marbles on stream. Is when you've got 90% of people putting exclamation point play in the chat, including regulars at times, because a lot of regulars that come to streams are still grinding as well. You will get some people, of course, you'll get some people that talk to you. And I'm not questioning that all of a sudden there's no chat whatsoever. But when you can see after your stream that, yo, I had, oh, let's check it out, I averaged like 120 tonight, but why were there 5 people actually saying something to me? That's when it starts to feel lonely and you feel unappreciated, which links into the points not people sort of situation. You feel like you're being used as a vessel to provide something for somebody, but they're not there because they actually like you, which then plays back into the imposter syndrome, which then plays back into the difficulty and health situations of streaming marbles for 20 hours when nobody actually cares that you are there. When you could have exactly the same experience if you turned your microphone and camera off, it's a problem. Because you're still getting, for a lot of people, not all of them, I get it, not all of them, but a lot of people are still getting the same experience, whether they even say anything or not. There were times, it didn't happen often to me, because I do try and encourage this conversational flow of things, and I like to be able to respond and talk about things. It didn't happen a lot with me, but it did still sometimes happen. And after those streams, even that one stream would hurt me because of the way that my brain is built. And I'm not saying that everybody's brain is built that way. I know that my brain is an anomaly. It's just the way it is. Would you prefer 2,000 viewers and 100 races, or 20 people chatting? A lot of people stay quiet and lurk. They should be celebrated. I'm not discouraging people lurking. I'm not. Lurkers are amazing. They're the lifeblood of Twitch. They help channels grow to what they are. That's not an argument that I've even made. If people are there watching and whatever, that's fine, because they're still appreciating the community. But there are people that they don't even care what the name is or the person that is that's streaming. They'll just load it up in multi-viewer, turn all the video off, and just watch for everyone else put an exclamation play and do it that way. Because the play spammers are very different to lurking. Treat the exclamation plays like lurkers? No, because it's not. Because a lurker is there to enjoy your community and enjoy your content. A play spammer is there just to get points and then leave again they don't care. I could have a heart attack and collapse on the stream. They wouldn't even know they'd done it. They just keep putting exclamation play in the chat to see if my heart had rolled down my chest. It is how it feels. And but this is, well, that's a scary label, bro. What's a scary label? What? I don't discourage anybody from lurking a stream. I think they're fantastic. They are genuinely really essential to streams and help streamers to grow. But it feels like people don't care, because the encouragement is, and this is the important point, because the encouragement is. I remember when Susie had a miscarriage and some people were more concerned about marbles. Thank you. My wife was dying in a room and I'd lost my baby, and people were asking me if I'd finished the Grand Prix for their energy. That's marbles at the moment for me. That sucked. Because people are conditioned to care more about their energy in completing a Grand Prix than they are about the streamer at the other end. That's streaming, dude. No, it isn't. Mike, you cannot say that that's streaming. You can't. You can't, because people have something to gain from energy and points and marbles. They want to get that top 3 or top 50 spot as a viewer. This is what I mean. We could have a genuine emergency situation, but people are shitting on me because I won't finish a Grand Prix. I tried this. The most heartbreaking thing about that day is, whilst my wife was hemorrhaging in the back and I was on the phone to 999, I was trying to finish races so people didn't hate me and they'd come back next time. And I will live to my dying day regretting that decision. But I didn't know what to do, because obviously it's just how it felt like it needed to be. I made that decision and it was shit. I should not have made that decision. And I'll be honest, I regret it. And Susie knows I regret that. I know she's listening right now. But people, I have an emergency to take care of and end stream. People don't care. The people who care will understand, yeah, they will, but then the people that are grinding the stream will never come back to your stream again. So then the next time you go live, you've got 30 less people than you had before, and you can never grow your career on Twitch because those people aren't coming back. They're telling the other people. And I am aware, because people have told me, that there is Discord communities out there. Breathe. I'm fine, Susie. Honestly, I'm okay. I'm aware that there are Discord communities out there that are specifically designed to tell other people not to go to your marble stream because you're not conserving their energy or grinding well enough for them. Screw those people. It's very easy to say for people like us, who are already partnered on Twitch. But it's when somebody is trying to grow and get to that level, that the second that somebody says, don't go to this person, you're suddenly losing a massive potential of people coming to your stream. There are genuinely, I don't know whether you know this or not, there are Discord communities out there dedicated to stopping people coming to your marble stream because you're not conserving their energy well enough. Did you know that? If you get blacklisted with marbles, you are fucked in those Discords. I didn't know that, but it's pretty shit, and it's a fact. It's there. I've seen it. It's there. What's up, simple person? Welcome in. And those Discord communities have 150, 200 different marbles grinders in them, all telling each other, do not go to this person. They will not help you. Even if it's a mistake, if you mess up their energy once, you are knackered, because those people immediately tell everybody else not to come to your stream. Take a moment to stretch. I'll tell you, I'm genuinely fine. I said this to Susie earlier, I'm okay. I'm passionate about it because I care, because this game is something I've loved so much in the past. I really care about it. That's why I'm not in any way heated. I'm calm. I'm having this discussion, and like I say, Spoo is being respectful. I'm trying to be respectful in return. Yeah, I'm just passionate about it. I want it to succeed, but I feel like we can't have this, say, because it becomes a dog pile, and it becomes this thing of, wait, you're wrong. Well, fuck you, leave the game. And that's hard to hear. It's hard to hear. But Spook, did you know those Discords existed? Did you know that this is a thing that the Marbles community is doing to deny streamers viewers because they're not caring about it? Or they screwed your energy once, they scuffed once? This isn't the first time I've heard most of these issues, and I'm sad it won't be the last. There are certainly issues with the game. Maybe leagues will change the meta for most of us, but I doubt it. You never know. You never know what changes are coming, not Ferrari. I don't know whether they will or not. I know the leaderboard community chats with each other, yes. Did you know it's genuinely as specific as this streamer scuffed my energy, never visit them again? And there are hundreds of Marbles players in there. They bring in new viewers and immediately tell them who not to watch. This is exactly what they do. I've seen it. I've seen top Marbles grinders tell someone who's just started Marbles, do not go to this person because they're never going to look after your energy. So that person won't come in. And this is what the game is encouraging. And I'm not saying that you're doing it on purpose. I'm not saying that any of this is designed to be the case. But I'm saying it is being encouraged because there is so much prevalence put on being one of the top streamers and top viewers. Those people should be outed, though. If you, I can promise you now, Garnet Rod, if you out everyone that's in there, the leaderboard would basically be upside down. I won't name any names, and I'm never going to name any names because it's not my place to do it. I'm telling you that this exists, and it's a very, very difficult thing to see. 2 million people race per season or something, 40% of grinding. How many of those people race like commonly throughout the season, don't just drop a marble, then realise that they don't control it and then leave? 1% grind, maybe? I don't know. From my experience in any stream that's cranking, it's not 1%. 40% of viewership when we partner with grinders, more than that. When I was grinding for top 7, I would say that 70 to 80% of the marbles in my race had a number above their name, which means they're in the top 200, which means inevitably they're grinding it. That 1% is what makes the game the game. This would be nowhere without the grinders and the inner community. I think it would have a place to be. it would have a place to be, but they're obviously the ones that are grinding it are obviously going to be the ones most passionate about it and will continue to bring in people or bring in viewers, because once your numbers start to go up, more people see it, they come in. Once they go down, it snowballs downwards. Marbles is like that. I can accept that. I can accept that if 4 or 5 marbles leave a race, that the next 4 or 5 won't join because there's not enough points on offer. I can accept that. That is the downside. It's an unfortunate circumstance of playing a game where you can always see the amount of marbles on a track. It is tough. It is an unfortunate coincidence that one of the biggest rules or biggest concepts behind trying to grow on Twitch is to stop caring about your viewer figures, but Marbles puts them so clearly in your face. Like, I'm not saying that it's always accurate that here you go, you've got 40 marbles on a track, you've got 40 viewers. That's not how it works, but it gives you a rough estimate until you get multi-viewers and you've got 100 marbles on the track, but your average is like 20, which is weird. But that's another topic completely. That's basically kind of what I've gone through. That's what I talked about on my twit longer. Now, the only thing I'll say is that this doesn't mean I dislike the game. It really doesn't. The reason I'm talking about this is because I enjoy the game and want to play it and want it to succeed. My issue is that I always said once this game stopped being medicinal for me, once I felt like it was affecting my mental health in a bad way, I'd have to move on for my own sanity and for the sanity of my family, because I'm not nice. I'm not particularly nice to be around when I'm pissed off. I'm not aggressive or anything. I just clam up. I go completely quiet. I'm not interactive, nothing like that. I don't care about leaderboards at all. I care about creating content and building a community that loves each other and supports each other. When have I said that I don't? I feel like you're strawmanning me so hard. I haven't said that I don't care about that. I'd like to play the game while I do it, and I feel like it's stressful to do that. The number also account people getting botted every stream and random people who drop a few marbles each season. I have 263 races this season and I'm 1,165. I'm not grinding, just casual. How many are daily players? I don't know. I honestly don't know. That was a response to Spoo. I get it, but there's a slight element of passive aggressiveness to it because you know I can read it. Makes you think it's not all about the leaderboard and the grind then if so many people play and you're not grinding at that rank. At rank 1,165? Mate, I'm higher than that and I only play in my own stream. I think the rank that somebody's at is relatively irrelevant. What I'm talking about is that the prevalence of having to, in order to try and grow your streaming community and become partnered on Twitch, which a lot of people say I don't care about being partnered, but secretly, I mean, I think if you ask most Twitch streamers, if you said to them, would you like to be partnered right now? They'd be like, yeah, cool, that'd be great. Yeah, please, let's make it happen. When that's seen as what somebody wants to potentially aspire for, and I know there's the whole concept of, well, it doesn't mean shit, it doesn't mean anything. Now I've got it, I would probably agree. Being partnered on Twitch it's nothing. It's not a thing. Like, it doesn't change anything. You get a purple check, that's about it. But it is still seen as something that people want to aspire to. And in order to do that, you need to grow the community. And it looks like, for new people joining Marbles, that in order to grow the community, you need to grind it. Because then you're in the top 20 and you can be seen on the home screen. Then people come and join in because they can get more points. And then when that starts to stall, you can give away some money to get more people in. And then when that doesn't work, when I was grinding, I had someone tell me that you're not really grinding if you're only in the top 200. I remember that. I was there that day. You were something like 198th and someone said that you weren't grinding at all and you were shit or something. It's unreal. The top 50, only the top 50 is seen as grinders, which I thought was hella toxic. That isn't, I wouldn't say that's Marble's fault. That's the mentality of the person who said it to you. I don't think that's instigated by Pixel or by Marbles on stream. I think if somebody has a toxic attitude, they're going to be toxic regardless of what you're doing. For some people, that's an inherent inbuilt thing that they're going to be toxic. It doesn't matter what you do. You could do anything, but they're still going to dislike you for it. Full-time Twitch streamers want partner. I'd say a lot of people probably do. Even if you're not full-time, if you were given the opportunity to have it, I'm sure you'd take it. You get a purple checkmark, sure. You also get more emotes on your channel and significantly higher payout from the people who do sub. That last point, Resto, is completely wrong. Unless, and I know the exact number, but I'm not allowed to talk about it, unless you have a significant amount of tier 1 subscriptions that aren't gifted per month, you do not get to negotiate your sub fee. That's the thing, I've seen many people lately who want to get involved in marbles but feel like grinding and running crank tracks is the only way to go. Because the game only provides crank maps in the top rated 99% of the time, a lot of people think that's all there is to the game. And that is a really good point. A really good point. When you see that those top streamers on the leaderboards, when you go into their stream and check them out, we know what they're doing. We know what they're doing. New players won't until they get there, and it's their first introduction into marbles is 30-second timers, 1-minute maps, go, 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 go. Now, people can do that for a little bit and then decide to move into something different. I did that. Like, I don't want to crank anymore because I hate it. I hate crank maps. I cannot stand doing 1-minute maps anymore. I mean, I did it last Wednesday, and in the end, I just resorted to watching YouTube while I just had marbles on in the background. Like, I wasn't even showing marbles. I was just telling people when to get in a race and watching YouTube. Can I hear some solutions for anyone? Just wondering. Honestly, I'm glad you asked. Now, I don't know the possibility. Crank maps is anything just over 1 minute. Just over 1 minute, so you can get XP from it and move on through races. The meta is to do 1-minute tracks in marbles. That's a crank map is something that's around about just over a minute long, the average time of just over 1 minute, so you can maximize how many races you can do for the most XP. I don't know how feasible it is, Spoo. The one thing I have potentially, so you can churn them out, yeah, exactly. The one thing I've said is a potential thing to do. Instead of increasing the maximum races that people can do in a day, decrease it. Decrease it, because then one of the issues that I've got is that people feel like they're forced to do 18 to 20 hour streams every day in order to climb the top 3. So if you were, for example, if you were to say, right, you can do 150 races per day and earn XP from them. After that, not only is it a check mark, but the streamer themselves cannot earn any more XP. So then it becomes about how the streamer does their tracks. They can play longer tracks. They can still only do 150, but they can play longer ones in order to get more people in if they want to, get XP from the differences in length of time of the track, or they can do short tracks to get them to see people like churn them out or whatever. They can do it in their own time and minimize the length of time they need to stream each day. From the viewer perspective, as much as this will annoy people who are used to tabbing up 8 different streamers and dropping a marble in all of them, have it so that you can only earn XP in 2 streamers at the same time until you hit, say, 40 races, or the streamer shuts their stream down. If the streamer like removes their stream, if they're not live anymore, then you can move on to the next streamer. Limit the amount of streamers that viewers can earn points with, and they will start caring more about the people they're with as a streamer because they'll be paying more attention to them. I don't know about you, but I can't pay attention to 8 different people at the same time and hear what they're saying. 2, I can do. On the streamer perspective, if you say to someone right now, right, you got 250 races you can do a day before you checkmark. Oh, after that you can still earn XP. Where's the incentive for that person to ever stop? Because if they stop, the person below them that isn't stopping is going to take over. And even though these people might not currently be suffering from this, it is a matter of time before they do. And you need to see that. You need to see that. It's up to every individual whether they want to do it, but once something becomes an addiction, it is no longer in their hands. Because marbles, as we all know, and we will hear it every single stream, I'll hear it, you'll hear it, somebody will come into your stream and say, whoa, this is addictive. Because it is. Because you're given that instant gratification of taking a win, watching your marble fall, something like that. It is addictive. And for a streamer, it's addictive to see your points climb and climb to the top of the leaderboards and see 100 marbles joining in. Once it becomes an addiction, it is no longer their choice whether they want to continue or not, because they are addicted to it and they would need the dopamine rush of doing it. It's addicting to grow your stream too. Should they limit stream lengths? Yes, please. I would love them to. I would absolutely love Twitch to limit stream lengths. I wish Twitch would limit stream lengths. Yeah, I'll be honest. Yes, that's exactly what I would like Twitch to do. I think marathon streams are horrendous. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Marathon streams are really bad, really bad. So now we just limit the world. They're taking it ever so slightly out of context and comparing Twitch length of streams and marbles on stream to the planet. Should we set curfews too? Yeah, we did. Like last year, everyone was curfewed. We weren't allowed out of the house past 7 o'clock. You can't drive a truck for too long in one day. It should work the same way. Thank you, Coach Bob. These things are already limited. Once it starts to become a safety hazard and unhealthy for people, these things are limited already. Should Phone Companion limit our screen time too? What? Thanks for all the sponsors, guys. I'm reading them all. I know you are, Spoo. I know. I appreciate it. you've got to try and avoid the sarcastic responses when we're trying to come up with a possible solution, rather than just, well, if we limit that, why don't we limit the amount of times you can have sex, or something ridiculous. We're trying to come up with a potential constructive improvement, rather than just passive-aggressively downplay someone else's opinion. I'm trying to do that for you. Hopefully you'll do the same in response. Apex Legends give jump trails to top 500 players for the next season. Top 3 just promotes unhealthy levels of grinding. I think, but I said this, the season I finished 7th, I said, like, I asked in one of the Raw streams, I was like, yo, why is it only the top 3 when the top 50 players are rewarded? Asking for the solutions and trash talking, it doesn't look good. I'm P-Critty in this instance, that's the first time I'll say I genuinely feel like that's what's just happened, and that doesn't feel particularly good. I'm trying to be open and respectful with you guys. Please do me the same in return. I believe with custom balls, it's become a legal issue with Pixel, so he has to approach cautiously. A legal... Okay, Pixel, thank you for coming in. I'm sorry that you feel like you have to leave when someone has disagreed with something. Like, there's a big difference between disagreeing and being respectful about doing it. Yeah, Spoo, it's I don't know whether it's a legal issue or not between, like, creating a custom ball or something. So, for example, if I wanted the Woot Hex, the W Hex, my logo on a marble, I have that legally trademarked with my business in the UK. I could give you the permission to use it on a marble. I have the power to do that. It's part of the legal agreement of having it trademarked. But I don't have the option to ask for it, I guess. I mean, Spoo, I'll ask you now. Can I get a marble in the game? It's trademarked. It's my logo. You can use it however you want. You can put a dick on it if you want. It's like, do you know what I mean? Like, I have the ability to say that to you. Can I get a marble in Marbles on Stream, please? I'm thinking of making a Twitter page about mental health and neurodiversity. I wanted to know about your thoughts. If it's something that you believe in, you're passionate about, as long as you are very careful that you're not triggering other people into going down that rabbit hole as well. If it's a helpful thing and not a potentially triggering thing, then by all means, trains, go for it. You just got to be really careful because you're not a counsellor. Ultimately, all the decisions are Pixels. I get shut down instantly and shit on, as some people might call it, or attacked. I don't feel like that's happened in this stream, Spoo. If I have missed it and that has happened, I completely apologise. I am keeping a close eye on it, and I know the moderators are as well. Imagine a situation where a person who cares about your game in a large amount talks about it and criticises, and you get defensive. It's a real concern that's why people don't come and open up about it. If Pixel did want an example of why people don't want to talk about what they think is wrong with the game, that was it. And I hope he listens to that and truly understands that is why people don't want to talk. How long would you say a max stream length would be? I would say 12 hours is long enough. I agree with that. I think 12 hours is enough to have a good amount of content and do your thing. Is this a serious stream? It is Jumpy Live, but it's okay. Welcome aboard. We're discussing a couple of things about some announcements that I made. I don't think Spoo was trash talking P-Critty. I'll be honest. I read everything that Spoo has said to me, and even though I don't agree with him, I don't think Spoo has trash talked in any way. I'll defend that one. I disagree vehemently with the way that Pixel just reacted to something, and I'll tell him that. Trash talk is not the right phrase, sorry. Okay, thank you, P-Critty, thank you. The length of streams is a legal thing with Twitch. Human rights and health issues should dictate that streams should be a certain length, and your channel should have to be inert for a period of time. If I don't know what the true employment laws are. I just know that if I was working a certain amount of time with a job, they wouldn't let me carry on working if I'd done over that amount of time. And Twitch is, for a lot of people, a job because it can be monetized. If you're paying taxes on it, it's an employment. You're 100% right about the addiction. I realize that it's impossible to get top 50 or so without being glued to Twitch every day for hours and hours and hours on end. It very much becomes an addiction for people, and this is when it stops becoming a choice as to whether you grind and starts to become a chemical imbalance that forces you, or you feel like you have to. Wait, what did Parky say that could become a fun community event? Let me see. Would a creation award or end of year event giving light to the wider streamers and community be beneficial? The wider streamers, mate, I'm in sure shot to get that win then. Man, I'm like a freaking Teletubby, mate. I'll take the wide streamer award. This is relatable to people feeling attacked during Raw. I could take a lot of this and say I feel attacked, but I don't because it's discussion. It is. I agree. There are certain things that I've heard happen. Now, I'll be honest, Boo, and I said this already. I left Raw when I feel like it was going in a direction that would only spiral me into not feeling good about myself anymore. So I didn't see what happened. I've been made aware that it was going in the direction I thought it was going into. But that doesn't mean I saw what happened, and I cannot say one way or the other if anyone actually attacked me, because I didn't want to put myself in a situation where it could be the case. Raw, Raw is it's a open and honest marbles on stream discussion that Spoo hosts every Monday with somebody else, either another streamer or Pixel or somebody like that. And today it happened, and unsurprisingly, the entire conversation was effectively about me. And it was labelled as we'll talk about the grind on Twitch, but let's be honest, people knew what they were there to discuss, and my name was mentioned multiple times in there, which was not a nice thing to have happen. You can talk about the grind without specifically labelling it at a person. But that happened, and I'm not surprised it happened. I wish it hadn't, but I'm not surprised it did. It's exactly what I'm referring to. Regardless of what anyone says, grinding 16 to 20 hour streams 7 days a week will shorten your life, and I'd be interested to consult an experienced optician to see how much sooner you'll go blind. I can't tell you whether you go blind or not. I don't know. I think it's bad for mental health? Without question, 100% I think it's bad for people's mental health to be streaming for 20 hours a day and doing it 7 days a week. So Sleepy hopefully doesn't mind me bringing up her name here. Sleepy discussed something earlier on her stream where she didn't mention the other person whose streams this is, but she went through the last 10 streams of one of the top marbles grinders. I don't know who it was because Sleepy never said, so this isn't me trying to throw anyone under the bus. It was never said which streamer this was, but it was one of the top marbles grinders, and their last streams were 16 hours, 18 hours, 19 hours, 18 hours, and 29 hours, and then they all carried on. And this is in the last like 2 weeks. They had done 10 streams that were all over 16 hours. And one of them was 29 hours long the day after they'd done an 18-hour stream. Let's bear in mind, there's 24 hours in a day. So if a streamer has done 18 hours streaming, 6 hours later they're doing another 18 hours of streaming. 6 hours later they're doing 29 hours of streaming. Something's wrong when a streamer feels like that's what they need to do in order to be competitive. Correct me if I'm wrong. Something has to be wrong if that's what someone has to do. Where the hell do they get the energy for that? I can't speculate one way or the other how they stay awake through all of that. But is that you can't or that you don't want to? I mean, both. Both. Man, I'm a 35-year-old guy with a 1-year-old child. There's no freaking way I can stay awake for 29 hours. At some point, I'd have to sleep. If it's the person I think, they also only got 2 to 4 hours sleep between those. That is disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. I'm so sorry. That is a horrible thing for a streamer to feel like they have to do. But you can say to me, well, they don't have to do it. But it's presented in every way as though they do. And that's really concerning. Because if they do that, they have their name at number 1. And if they do that, more people go to their stream because they're number 1. And if they do that, their channel grows. And if they do that, they have the potential to get partnered. And if it's this cyclical thing of like, if you can stay awake for 4 days straight, you're gonna do well. It's been a forever concern with marbles, then limit it if you can see that it's a concern. So what you've just said, Spoo, is that you know that this is a problem, yet you haven't acted on it. Yeah, and guys, if you know who that is, please don't mention their names in the chat. It isn't aimed as a personal attack at them, it's aimed at the situation they feel like they have to be in. Limiting only hurts the company, it's been tried. What do you mean it hurts the company? So you mean on a financial level? I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, is that what you're saying to me? Unless they can magic 200 viewers on the track every race, they have to do those hours to match the points from larger streamers. Unless you limit the amount or you alter the amount of XP that's earned dependent on, like, there are ways to counteract that. If you say that somebody's got 200 viewers but they get 200% less XP, so it becomes about like your strategy of the races and which ones you choose to do. Do I do an hour race and do loads of them? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, that was part of it. So, Spoo, please correct me if I'm wrong. I am not in any way wanting this to be something that I'm putting in your mouth. So please correct me if I'm wrong. You know that people will cause themselves harm by streaming for an exorbitant amount of hours, but you don't want to change it because of the financial bottom line of Pixel by Pixel Studios. It's gone through many evolutions to be where it's at. We've seen it all, and the point we're trying to evolve. Can we get like almost like a confirmation of the statement that I've just made, that people are streaming for an exorbitant amount of time that could hurt their health, but you don't want to limit it because you feel like it would cost the company money? Vic Bodo, thanks for the follow, welcome aboard. And I'm not trying to put this in, I'm asking you that question because it feels like that's what you just said to me. That's why I like the MSLA so much. It's marbles, but without the grindiness. I love doing my Survivor Sunday streams, and I've loved deathmap streams for the same reason. But it's very difficult to get those off the ground when you're not given any sort of direction in which to go in. I know there was a scare a long time ago, not so much anymore. You're like a politician, Spoo, goddammit. Let me nail you down on something. But no, it sounds like you're saying yes to that, and that's quite shocking if I'm being honest. A scare, yeah, no, a scare. Either financially or mental health-wise, a scare. It's a yes or no question. I don't think I'm going to get a yes or no question, and it's entirely Spoo's prerogative not to give me one, because the outcome of that question could be damaging, and he doesn't want to do that, and I understand why. Regardless of who Spoo is, he still has an obligation to the company he works for. Like, let's not pretend that he doesn't, because so do we all do. I have sponsors. I need to be very careful that I don't, like, go off into some sort of rant about hoodies. That's how it came across to me. The money means more than others' health. And again, I'm not going to put those words in Spoo's mouth. I mean, I've asked the question. We have a potential answer, but I don't want to lead him into saying something that's going to get him in trouble either. How long have these ridiculously long streams been around? Too long. Because even one is too long. I've been listening to the topics. I don't think a company should be held responsible for what an individual decides to do by taking it too far for streaming for such a long period of time. In that case, can you not? Are you going to? Okay. Let me just take stock of that one. Let me just take stock. So you're saying what I'm arguing, Sailor Peach, is that it promotes the addictiveness by portraying that that's something you need to do, because the only way that you can finish in the top 3 in marbles on stream is to do that, and it is listed as something that you feel like you should do because it's presented to you immediately as you log onto the game, and you are rewarded for doing it. That's the problem. That's the problem that I've got. We're obligated to take care of ourselves regardless of 20-hour streams, and I agree until it becomes an addiction. How many times have you heard someone say to you, whoa, marbles is addictive? And I'll put this out to everyone here right now, everyone that's talking in the stream, and I'm trying not to do this too much, but everyone that's in the stream right now, have you at any point carried on playing marbles even though you felt like you should stop because you're addicted to wanting to play it? Can you put me a 1 in the chat, please? That's clearly what's driving you and others. I've said that we're not going to get the yes or no. I've defended the fact that we're not going to get one and that you shouldn't give us one. Does this not say something to you? These are the players of the game that are telling you there are times where they have wanted to stop playing marbles, but they're too addicted. That has to show you something. This is the audience. This is the target market. That is shocking. No, I'm not saying that prizes should be nixed. I'm really not saying that prizes should be nixed. I'm saying that the studio needs to take some sort of accountability for the fact that you nixed a prize thing with Community Day, but then also put it back with Marble Fest, which is a hell of a lot longer for a lot longer amount of time. It feels like, I already answered, I don't care, I already said it was just part of it. Just like any business, we're here to help people, not babysit. Okay, but I'm also here to then critique why the lack of seeming care for people's health in that circumstance may be an issue. If people feel like they cannot stop because they're addicted to it, and you're saying they're addicted to the community, not the game, it's very hard to get addicted to a community when you're putting !play in a chat. It just is. Like, it's... There are people that have raced with me, and I know there's people in here that have raced with me for longer than they feel like they should do, not because of me, but because they want the points and they're addicted to getting the points and watching the marbles. I've not personally attacked anyone or the game. I know, Sleepy, I know you're fine so far. You're fine. It's... What... Some of the things you said to me is that the bottom line means more to the studio than people being healthy. I've been addicted to many games unhealthily. I'm addicted to marbles for a positive reason. Okay, I'm not disputing you can be addicted to something positively, but my issue is then it then leads back into the addiction, leads into the grind, leads into the loneliness for a streamer, and it leads into the points not people situation for the streamer. It all goes hand in hand. If I'm getting addicted to Warzone, I know that there's no prize at the end of the tunnel. I just want to play it more because I'm enjoying it, and then I'll start to not enjoy it, but I'll continue playing it, and in the end I'll feel like crap because of it. But I'm not rewarded for feeling like crap. And I feel like the studio are directly rewarding the people who are trying to hurt themselves the most. I wish people could understand their addictions and take care of them. I know firsthand the roughness of addiction and dealing with it. If people could stop getting addicted to things, then mate, you'd have solved so many problems, but people aren't in control of their addiction a lot of the time. It's a chemical thing. Let's put it this way, when a business becomes big enough, people become numbers without the care or consideration of individuals. It shows this in droves, just like big corporations. I'm concerned by what I've heard tonight, because the whole ethos of Marbles felt like it was about the community feeling behind it, not how much money we can give you. That's honestly has shocked me a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. And that's when the points not people thing that I'm talking about, when we become more of what you can get from us than actually caring about us. It's exactly that. That's almost word for word what my Twitlonger said, is that I feel thrown aside and abused if people can't get anything from me, and it feels like that's what the studio are saying we should do, because if you're not going to give us any money by playing the game, you can leave it. I'm not trying to push you into a slanderous or libelous situation, I'm really not, but it feels like what you said is pushing me down that line, you know? It's really not about money. If you'd listen to Pixel's story, you'd think otherwise. The amount that's been sacrificed, the amount of his own money thrown into it to make sure it stays afloat is insane. Spoo, I'm not disagreeing with that in any way. I don't know the backstory of how this game was created or how much money went into it behind the scenes. I only have what you're telling me now to go on. I just don't understand why it matters what other people are doing. Everyone needs to take care of their own stuff. All games can be addicting. Everyone needs to know their own limits. We're all adults and need to take control of our own lives. Yep, we do. I agree with you, but nobody's saying that to people who are addicted to other things. How is it any different when in this situation we're rewarded for being addicted to it? And it's almost a desire to be addicted to it, because then the bottom line starts to increase, because if you're addicted, you want the skins. If you want the skins, you'll play at Marble Fest. If you don't get those skins, you'll buy the t-shirt. How much does it become we're going to use your addiction to get you to open your wallet? Which I didn't even realize was a thing until tonight. People are just going to talk shit regardless of knowing the story. I'm not trying, in no way am I trying to talk shit about Pixel. I'm 100% going by what you've told me in the stream, Spoo. It's a game. I know, my Twitter was, I don't want to play this game anymore. Why was it then taken to the nth degree? Like, I don't know. You can come in here and tell me, oh, it's just a game, bro. I know it's just a game. That was just a tweet. I've played many games that were literally pay to play. Marbles isn't close to that. No, because but nobody's saying it is. Nobody's saying it is pay to play, because no matter how much you put into the game, you're not more likely to win. Take it easy, Dodge. Thanks for coming, man. I appreciate it. Cheesy, thanks for the host. Nobody's saying that it is pay to win. We've never made that argument. But I have no question at all that Pixel has put a lot of his own money into it and sacrificed a lot for it. The same as any streamer has put in a lot of their own money and sacrificed a lot for it. I am not in any way, and I've said this, I've tried to say this 1,000 times, I am not criticizing the streamers that do it. I am not criticizing the viewers that do it. I'm not criticizing anyone behind the scenes that does it. I'm criticizing the mechanics being designed to make that happen, or at least encourage that happen, or at least, even if you're arguing that one, to not discourage it happening. Honestly, I would watch more of your content if you're doing variety streaming. Love your streams, but Marbles is dedicated just chatting to me. That's what it was designed to be. Acidic Desire, welcome to the stream. Thanks for the follow. That's what Marbles was designed to be for me. It was a just chatting stream with an interactive background, and I'm glad that I did it, and it's given me a lot. Like I still want to like the game, but I'm not enjoying what I feel like the game is becoming. I just don't know why I'm being called out for growing a community and enjoying what I do. Not once have I called you out on anything like that, Tony. Not once. I specifically came to your stream earlier and I said to you in person right then and there, because I knew the stream was going on and I knew how it might be interpreted to someone who's trying to cause shit. I came to you and I said to you, look, I respect everything you're doing. None of this is in any way an attack against any of the streamers doing the game. I appreciate you. I respect you. You've always been welcoming and I tried to give you the same in return. And I still will. I have nothing but respect for what you've grown, what you've done, and your commitment to doing it. I don't agree with the situation that makes you feel like you have to do it, or even if you don't feel like you have to, the situation that if you want to get number one, you are going to have to do it. You just are. But that isn't about you. It's in no way an attack about you, and I've been very careful to make it clear that this isn't an attack on any of the streamers or the viewers. It's not. What it seems is happening is you said, I'm not happy, I'm making a change, then the studio decided to very publicly respond to you. You came online for your scheduled stream to explain why you felt the way you did, and now you're being told by a bunch of people you shouldn't feel your feelings because they don't match mine. I'll let that one sit if you don't mind, not Ferrari. I'll let that one sit. But I didn't expect anything less. I really didn't expect anything less. It's honestly, it's so echo chamber at times, and this is honestly, this exact situation is why people feel like they are not able to tell you what they think. Because I will tell you right now, most of the people in this stream who are grinding marbles will never come back to my stream ever again. I have no question whatsoever that I have completely shot any marbles on stream future in the foot. But I had to say what I needed to say to explain to people why I didn't want to do it anymore. The top grinders right now are some of the most fun and positive I've ever seen at top. It's amazing. I completely agree. I completely agree. Fantastic people. I've got nothing against the streamers. I'll keep saying that until I'm blue in the face. Tony, mate, Tony, I would have... 7 months low. Cheers, brother. I'd appreciate you if you can, Tony. If you can DM me after the stream, because I don't want this to look like it's ever an attack at yourself or people like yourself or people at the top of the leaderboards, because it isn't that. It isn't designed that way. If you have taken it that way, I apologize. That means I've done something wrong to present it that way, and I completely apologize for that. This is not a personal attack on anyone. My inbox is always open. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I'm streaming 12 hours a day now. I'm not doing crazy long hours, just enjoying my community. Good, mate. Honestly, good. What I'm concerned about, Tony, is, and this is, again, it's not a personal attack on you, so please don't take it as one. It's when it starts to become too long. And the fact that you've reduced them to 12 hours a day, would you say that you feel like you were streaming too long before on it? In order to have, like, wanted to reduce it to 12 hours, would you say that you felt like you were going too long before? I appreciate what you're saying, Woot. Addiction is incentivized in the game. I appreciate what you're saying. I'll let the text do it. Addiction is incentivized in this game. It is a requirement to be addicted to it to finish the season in the top 50 or top 3 for streamers. I agree in a way. I don't think it's a requirement to be addicted to it. I think you have to have a hell of a lot of time, availability, and commitment, and potentially a little level of addiction in order to do it, sure. But I don't think it's a requirement to be addicted. I don't think the studio are requiring anyone to be addicted. I think they're setting up an environment that makes it easy to become addicted and giving you a reward at the end for it. Thank you for the 200 bits, Orlando. I appreciate that. I just want to start focusing on other things as well, including catching up on movies I missed, mate. I can imagine. Streaming 18 hours a day is tough to get in those Godfather movies, isn't it? Forget about it. Headsnap is a prime example. I'm not going to speak for him, though. I'm sure Headsnap won't mind me saying this. He's DM'd me also saying that he shares a lot of the concerns. In the going, and we've spoken about this quite publicly on streams before as well. Having streamed to go for the top 3 in multiple seasons, he's just done with it because it's mentally very, very taxing. Not many people last continuously grinding because it's a tough competition. it worries me the way that you phrase that not many people last. And I'll be honest, I don't think it's because it's a tough competition. I think it's because they physically can't. But if you physically can't, you're gonna be less likely to be able to build up to achieve something on the channel, because in marbles on stream, that doesn't make it tough. Doesn't that make it tough? Yes, it does. It does. But the toughness isn't the difficulty in the game or anything like that. The toughness comes from how long can you stay awake before you pass out. Most games require huge investments of time to top any leaderboard. I agree. Most games are also skill-based, and you can have an innate ability to grow your ability or grow your skill in them. And you know, like, if somebody who's a natural born skillful gamer will have an advantage at that than someone else. So someone else is going to have to work a longer amount of time. But it's still a case of you can go on and increase your skill and attempt to improve, and you can see a tangible improvement. You cannot improve in marbles on stream. It is not a game that requires any skill. The skill in marbles on stream is to present it well to a community and to build a community. I can only stay awake so long. Perhaps we should get the Chungus to stream as she never sleeps. Just tell her to go for the top 3, Suze. It's such a fallacy to say that any game to get the top of the leaderboards is going to take a lot of time, because if people can fundamentally see their skill, tilting takes skill, but it is what it is. Yeah, I agree. That's fine. Fair enough, tilting does take skill. I'll get that. I don't think anybody's ever got to the streamer leaderboards based only on tilting, though. Correct me if I'm wrong. Not anymore, anyway. Just want to make a point that this game on Steam is marketed as casual, but it's anything but casual. Marbles is not the same as House Flipper, and if it should be, there should be no leaderboard. I'm not in any way. Take it easy, Gunora. Thank you for being a darling. Thank you. In no way am I saying that the leaderboards on marbles on stream should be removed. What will you be streaming now? I've got a couple of ideas of what I might be moving into. I'll speak to that's kind of irrelevant to the conversation. My motivation here was to explain why I'm moving away from marbles on stream, and perhaps have a discussion about a few of the reasons behind it. Hopefully a constructive discussion, fingers crossed. And I feel like we've had a lot of that, which is good. So I would thank Spoo for that. The future of my channel is not really the conversation here. I think, Camwa, what you're saying is true, that to be in the top of the leaderboards in any game is going to take a lot of time. However, you're aware that when you are putting in that time, whether you're improving or not, you're aware of what you need to focus on to improve it. Marbles is not something that you can race any better than the last person, apart from narrowing down your timers to 30 seconds and then picking the right tracks. Then you literally just click play. That's all you can do. You can improve as a streamer on the game, and you can improve your stream presentation, your performance, your professionalism, your personality. You can work on all of that. What is soup? Thank you for the raid. Welcome aboard. This is a raid we brought. Soup. What flavor soup? What flavor soup? And if it's not cream of chicken soup, you're wrong. Don't give me then it's tomato crap. I want cream of chicken. I'm British. Give me my cock. Chicken. Jesus. You can't get more skillful at racing and marbles thing. You can get better as a streamer, and I'll agree with that. I'll always agree with that. I'm a better streamer now than I was a year ago, than I was 2 years ago. I'm a much better streamer now. I mean, you might tell me that, no, Woot, you're still just as crap as you were then. I think I'm much better now than I was then, and marbles has helped me to do that, because you have to carry the stream. You can't get better at racing it, you can only carry it better. And I feel like that's something I've been able to do, whether it's 100 marbles, 150 marbles, or 10 marbles. I can carry it, and you know I can, otherwise you wouldn't have given me Marble Fest and other opportunities like that, which I do appreciate, and I've said that. So I think you're aware that my skill as a streamer has improved by playing marbles. I won't dispute that, but I can't race any better than I could a year ago. I'm doing the same thing then as I can now. I can create events, which I have done, and they've been successful, and I love the fact that they've been successful, but I still have the same ability to race a race as anyone else does. No amount of time will change that. The only thing it will change is my position up and down the leaderboards, not because of skill, because of time. I think the attitude that just get addicted to something else so it's not my problem is a convenient way to sweep an enabling problem under the rug. Is that what was said? I hope that wasn't, I didn't see it. I hope that wasn't what was said. If they're not going to get addicted to this, they'll just get addicted to someone else. I didn't see it, so I'm not... I mean, it's... do you not see the really, it's just, it doesn't feel like a nice thing to say. Sorry. The value of these prizes created by the community, a virtual badge and an emote in the game for a little while isn't that worth it. I agree. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. But obviously some people do think it's worth it. And if you are aware, you've just said that you know that the value is created by the community. So you can devalue it by adding more. By adding more places that get this reward, you can devalue it and prevent this from happening. You are in control of the valuation the community puts on things. What's up, Ali? Welcome aboard. How's the stream going? It's going well. What is it? It's a bit of a serious conversation, but I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Even WoW is willing to admit their game should be taken in moderation. They built in tools. Yeah, World of Warcraft. Sorry, I thought you were on about CamWow, because we've got CamWow and we've also got you mentioning talking about WoW. So World of Warcraft is willing to admit their game should be taken in moderation. They have built-in tools to set limits for yourself. Tooltips remind you to get out of the game sometimes. Maybe the studio should at least implement some tools that people can use to limit their own intake. That would be a good start and a good thing to do. Is that, Spoo, is that something the studio have considered doing? Putting some sort of warning in the game that says streaming for a long time can cause issues, or something, obviously something a little bit more politically correct. You don't want to open your game and the first thing it says, this stream is too long, you're fucked. Obviously you want to phrase it in a better way. Like a cooldown for gambling, potentially. I mean, I've suggested potentially limiting the amount of races that a streamer can do each day, and then they can choose how they do those races. It's not just about doing 500 races a day. It's about, here you go, you've got 100 races or 150 races. Use them as you wish. You can go quickly if you want, but you're not going to earn any more XP. Or you can go really slowly and just do it a little bit differently. Yo, Standard, what is up, my man? Welcome to the stream. Standard, I wanted to say something while you're here as well. I would imagine, Standard, you will have seen my twit longer. If you didn't, I mentioned you in there, and I want to say a genuine from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Because when I was really suffering with the concept of moving away from marbles a couple of weeks ago, this isn't a brand new thing that's happened today, I reached out to Jamie and I said, look, man, how did you do it? How did you get through this? And Standard Damage honestly gave me one of the kindest, most heartfelt responses, and it helped me more than you could imagine. So Jamie, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for that, because you kept me going when it was dark, man. It was dark. The heating was on. No wonder I'm sweating balls in here. It's crazy. I don't know what people are talking about. I was #1 viewer and #2 season in a row, but I still worked my 8-hour night job and was around the community chatting up with Raz. It's how I use my time. Killspree, you're an anomaly, brother. You know this. You're welcome, old friend. Thank you. Thank you. What you have to realize is that World of Warcraft didn't put those limits in off their own back. They lost so much money due to people dying whilst playing. I can't confirm one way or the other with that one. Yeah, old friend. Mate, I'm 35. Still got more hair. Jamie, don't do this to me. Don't call me old, mate. I'm already suffering. But no, Killspree, if that was something you were able to do, that's fine. I still think there should be a way of assessing the potential for damage and for struggles that people can have. And then after that, if you want to ignore the warnings or you want to try and ignore the limits or anything like that, I will agree, there's only so much the studio can do to stop people like decimating themselves over the length of time they stream. The studio isn't 100% responsible for it. It is still down to the person as well. I can completely agree and will empathize and agree with you. The person does need to take some responsibility. But when they're put in a situation where it's deemed that that's the thing they need to do, it's really hard to take that responsibility, because otherwise you're deemed to be failing. And there's a difficulty that people have. Like, for example, Sleepy, you're here right now. Would you have stopped streaming, like some of your streams that you've been doing, really long streams, would you have stopped them earlier, or is it the fear of not getting one of those top spots and deemed to have been failing at it that is causing you to carry on going for that long? Because if you watch Sleepy stream at the moment, I really hope you don't mind me mentioning this. If you do mind, please tell me and I'll stop immediately. Sleepy is struggling, but has the feeling that she needs to continue doing what she's doing to achieve something that she hasn't been able to do for a few seasons. I'd have still been doing my 5-hour streams if I wasn't going for top 3. So do you feel like you are in a situation where you have been, or you feel like you need to stream an unhealthy amount of time in order to claim a reward in the game? I mean, very careful on how I phrase that. I don't want any sort of like libel or slander or anything like that. And I'm not trying to cause that. I'm asking for the specifics, because I've never gone for top 3. I don't want to. I've seen it. Yes, 100% lol, but I'm not weak. It's not a weakness to not be okay. I don't need to play leaderboard to get what I love from it. It brings more people, but I realized on my own I was coming too much from my mental health after a year of caring about that. And fortunately, you're fortunate, head snap, that you've managed to realize after a year that it's damaging your mental health and you've been able to take the step away from it. The concern is that somebody won't realize until it's happened. And that mental health damage is very, very difficult to come back from. At this point, my year of caring about pushing for top 3 is over. Sin, how many times have you been close? And can I ask from a personal perspective, how do you feel about your experiences with the game? I'm not going to put words into your mouth. I feel much better now that I give no crap anymore. Okay, when you were going for it, how did you feel? I am not putting words in your mouth. This is not a loaded question. I want to know your opinion. How did you feel when you were going for it? Friendly reminder for someone who's personally experienced this: it is okay not to be okay. 100%. Please remember, we will and always will be, or we are and always will be, a mental health, inclusive and awareness and fundraising stream. So thank you everybody that's involved with it. It's not there at the moment because I feel like it would be a conflict of interest to be sitting here showing how much we've raised for mental health whilst also talking about things that could be damaging it at the same time. After 5 seasons of top 5, then finally getting top 3. You tell me, Sin, you tell me. What's up, Gregos?
Hello, Wootball, how are you, and welcome to our 10-month sub-anniversary.
10 months, brother, let's go. Thank you for the 10 months, Gregos. I appreciate it, my man. Welcome aboard. Unfortunately, it won't change until people die. The developers, I don't think in any way. I'm never going to put that on them. I'm never going to put that on them. That isn't fair to who I consider good people. Spoo and Pixel are good people, and I don't think it's fair to put that on them. I think the environment may contribute towards that potential for problems, but I'm not going to label it as a developer issue if that happens, because they are genuinely, Spoo is a good guy. So is Pixel. I don't agree with some of the way Pixel phrases things, but they are good people. Like, in no way am I saying that that's what they're causing. Relieved I'll never put myself through that horrible grind again. I do not recommend it to anybody because it's not healthy. And that's coming from someone who achieved it. I didn't say that. Me and Sin have not spoken like today before the stream. But that is coming from someone who has done it and achieved it. Encouraging people to not do it because it's not healthy. That has to tell Pixel by Pixel Studios something, that someone who has achieved it would recommend that nobody does it. I've never gone for the leaderboard because I've seen how draining it can be. As someone who suffers from mental health issues, I can't see myself grinding for the top 3. On top of that, I don't get the marbles needed to even reach there. I did get a sense of jealousy whenever I looked at the leaderboards, but I slowly conditioned my brain not to be. They're working hard and doing the best they can do. They may also be struggling. I don't know. We'll never know unless they say it. They'll never know. Genuine question, did it negatively affect the people around you as well? Sinister plans, absolutely it did. This is the very basis of the problem that I've got with it right now. I think it's positive for people to be able to understand their own bodies and minds and take care of themselves. I'm out here trying to better people on a personal level. I can lead you to water, but I can't make you drink. Nobody's asking you to make us drink. Nobody's asking you to make anybody drink. But if you lead people to poison water, they're going to drink it if they've got nothing else. And I don't know if that came across right at all, but if the pool you're already in is set up to a situation where it's going to harm you and you give people no choice but to play in that pool, it's an issue. There's some really interesting reading about how game creators can encourage limited screen time while still making a profit. Everybody, I haven't read that link. Obviously, that's my wife that said it, but if you feel like you want to click on that and read it, then by all means, absolutely do, please. That'd be amazing. $5 freak, what do you mean, not really? I'm sorry, what was that in reference to, my friend? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate your time. I don't know what your response was in reference to, though. I'm sorry. If I'm being completely honest, the contradiction between mental health positive and streaming marbles on stream, which very blatantly enables and seems to encourage unhealthy grinding, was actually part of the reason I haven't been around as much. I didn't really know how to put it to words, so I kept it to myself mostly, so I'm very glad you're here talking about it and bringing awareness to it now. I didn't, obviously, Resto, I didn't know that was the reason. I hope or I wish that you'd have been comfortable enough to tell me that at the time, but I hear it now. Some people will realize at different times, or other people might not realize at all, and that's okay. And that's okay if it doesn't become an issue for them. That's fine. I can see the potential in it, and that's why I'm now starting to step away. Animals don't drink poison water. They will die. They will hydrate first. Okay, well, I'm not an animal. I don't know zoology that particularly well. It was a kind of a throwaway comparison. All I can do is try to help, but it's not up to me to make people's decisions for them. But are the studio helping then? By increasing the amount of races that a streamer can do each day, that seems like the antithesis of trying to help them with this issue. I don't grind constantly because it's a tough competition. I still enjoy it, so I turn it on and off. It can be a tough competition while still remaining healthy to do it. The longer that you extend the amount of races a streamer can do, the longer they're going to have to grind to do it, and the more at risk they are. On the converse, the shorter that you make the grind, if you could say you could do 10 races a day, I mean, it would suck because you'd be live for about 15 minutes, but if you say you can do 10 races a day, use them how you wish, you can still make it a competition. I'm not saying you should, please, it's me being, you know, a little bit facetious and over-exaggerating, but you can still create a competition based on that without making it an unhealthy competition for people. I've talked to the top streamers and racers a lot through the years and how they feel and make sure they're taking care of themselves. Well, I'm glad. I appreciate you doing that. I do appreciate that. I didn't get that chat. And I started to suffer because of the game. And I'm not saying that I'm special. I should be contacted above anyone else. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I didn't get that. This game started to break me, and I felt like I had no one I could speak to about it until today. There are a lot of people to talk to. I wish I could talk to them all, and I agree. And no, you're not responsible for having to talk to anyone. You're not a counselor. You're not. I've always said it's irresponsible of someone that's not a counsellor to try and counsel people out of situations. I'll say that now, and I've said that before. You're not responsible for that. It's a response to you talking to the streamers and racers and making sure they're okay. I didn't get that. A few other people probably didn't. It's either if that is the line that the studio are taking, that we want to try and help people through these issues that they're having because of the game, it's got to be an all or nothing situation. Either, and this is a bad thing, but either you don't give a shit about it whatsoever, or you care about everyone that's trying to play the game. I've grinded insanely hard and also casually played for fun. Yeah, so have I, and it seems like the only way that you can grow now is like by grinding it. The only way you can do well is by grinding it or getting an opportunity that it seems is only presented to a very small amount of people. Resto says, it wasn't a comfort thing, such as not really knowing how to put it into words. That and my own mental burnout about other things wasn't like an only reason thing. Most of it is on me. So I'm guessing, obviously, you've read the twit longer now, Resto, and seen that. Hopefully it's okay. It's like blaming the Xbox for a game addiction. It's up to the person. Not completely, no. It's still up to the developers to put it in. Why do you think gambling companies have a warning on them all? Because they know it's addictive. They are legally required to warn you that gambling is addictive and you should stop when it's not fun anymore. It's the same reason that EA and other loot box companies now have to tell you the percentage chance that you have of pulling one of the top picks from a pack. Because they knew that people were getting addicted to it in an unhealthy and financially decimating level. You can't blame it all on someone being addicted. Otherwise, it's saying that someone with an alcohol addiction, it's their fault. Like, it's okay. Like, there comes a point where it's a chemical thing. There's a reason it's an addiction. There's a reason why it's an addictive disease. And please don't think I'm comparing marbles on stream in any way to alcoholism or anything like that. I'm really not. I'm basically using the semantics of an addiction. That's all. Do you think if you get points payout dependent not just on placement and number of marbles but length of race too, would that encourage more varied content? I think it's been discussed before that it would be nice to have some sort of... It would be nice for the meta not to completely break, but to variate. So you can do the 3 to 4 minute tracks if you want to and be rewarded in a similar sort of way. How the studio does that, I don't know. Honestly, it's not my responsibility to come up with the solution for that one. But if somebody wants to climb the leaderboards, the only way at the moment is to do meta tracks. The only way to do that, because nobody on Twitch is a big enough streamer like DMP3 was when he won it. No one on Twitch is a big enough streamer, big enough marble streamer to consistently do that. I say no one on Twitch. Obviously, there are streamers on Twitch that could. I mean, nobody who consistently streams marbles could right now, because no one's big enough to do it. They all have to do the meta grind. There's only so much you can do as one person. Spoo, what you do is appreciated. I think the studio could help you with that, though, by adding more tools to help people take care of themselves. Well said, Resto. I honestly, I believe now from what I've read from Spoo that he has done a lot to try and assist people who are going through this sort of issue. If I'm being honest, Spoo, I don't think you're getting the backup that you need in order to fix that, and it's not your responsibility to try and fix people's addiction. I think you need backup and assistance from the people who can make a bigger difference. After one season of grind, I would say that I'd never do it again in a while because it caused so many problems with my family, and sometimes I got quite sick physically. I think that's just because I was over 5 months indoors because, you know, I mean, the lockdown didn't help anyone's mental health, did it? For sure. Woo, I saw you apologise for leaving when Susie needed you to call the ambulance because you're afraid people would be upset about their energy was scuffed. That shouldn't have happened. I will take that to the grave with me, Bohemian Moon. That day, I can't believe, I still can't believe it. I can't believe that I felt like I had to do that. I tried to finish a Grand Prix while Susie was miscarrying in another room because I felt like if I didn't do that, people wouldn't come back to the stream in a couple of weeks. I'm heartbroken that even happened. Are you putting content on all the platforms you're on? Growing a stream solely on Twitch is quite difficult. Spoo, I'll be honest, that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to move away from marbles as well. Not because I don't put out content on other platforms. At the moment, I don't. I think marbles on stream content on the platform. Sorry, I'm just turning my fan on. It's like a friggin' sauna in here. Toby, thank you for the 6 months, brother. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, man. Woot. Yes, that's me. I want to move into another avenue, another potential genre of games, because I think marbles on stream content, we all know it's not particularly successful on YouTube. And the reason that I know this, for example, and I'm not trying to call anyone out. I'm gonna search for, if you don't mind, Pixel by Pixel Studios, because the lead developer of the game, right? The lead developer of the game. So the views on marbles-based YouTube videos are not particularly good. I can't bloody find it now, can I? I've subscribed to it and I can't find it. It's irrelevant. So I will and want to put content out on other platforms, but I don't think marbles on stream has enough of an impact on YouTube or anything else. The stuff on other platforms that I've managed to get some traction with has been my face cam cut out individually from marbles on stream, so you can't even see that I'm playing the game. And then I've been saying something that people have found funny and identified with. It's nothing to do with marbles. Now, could I do that for every stream? Sure, I could. I could put all those on YouTube and edit them and all that sort of stuff. But there's so many just chatting streams and all that sort of stuff out there that I want to be able to market as a gamer, as a streamer, as a video game content creator. And marbles doesn't have, in my opinion, doesn't have the traction to do that. So grow outside the game and come back and win it if you want it. DMP didn't organically grow his community from marbles. I don't know, there's always a different route, but I understand wanting this to be the main game. However, the community base here isn't big enough daily, I feel. What is that responding to? Sorry, Killspree. What's that responding to? Well, bro, we're here for you. On $5 Freak, thank you, and Sleepy Pan, thank you as well. I've made mistakes, and in order to appease what I felt was the thing to do on this game, and I honestly, I can only apologize to my family for that, because it was a shitty decision. As soon as it happened, we just wanted to know you were both okay, and your mods were very good at doing that. You never know how you'll react in that situation. I reacted like an idiot. I really did. And I didn't know what to do other than to try and appease so many people at the same time. I did the same thing when I was called during stream that my daughter passed. I finished tears. I barely remember because I was in shock, but I didn't want to upset anyone. It's just... People feel like they have to do that so they don't piss off people who can have an impact on their future on Twitch. I'm an example, and now Extreme Recon's an example as well. You have to remember that Pixel's a dev, not a YouTube creator. The YouTube content area for marbles has hardly been scratched. Okay, but it, like Standard Damage says, the game doesn't lend itself to not live content, because the excitement of getting a win or a world record or beating a death track or whatever. It isn't really there when it's not live. You want to, it's something that you want to see. I don't know. I don't think it's a game that suits pre-recorded non-live content. I'm here for you, the community, not the marbles. I know Skyrain is the name. Skyrain DRG is the name. They blocked Twitch at his work, so he hasn't been around. That's all right, Bohemian Moon. Thank you for telling me. It's still in the process of creating the traction, in my opinion. People don't want to put in the work for it, to be honest about it. Content and growth takes a lot of work. I don't disagree at all. YouTube videos are tough to create, but I think Marbles doesn't lend itself to being able to create them in a good way. Not at the moment. I don't know. It doesn't have the traction on other platforms at all. And I don't think it's a game that can, because of the way it's formulated, because the only way you can play it is to be live in the stream, and then you see people joining, you see the result happen. The game is called Marbles on Stream. It seems obvious it would thrive on stream, and it does. It works really well on stream. Really well. From what I've watched, you're a great streamer, would handle a much louder audience. What makes you happy is enjoyable to watch. Thank you, Zombie Hedgehog. I appreciate that. I think I could too, but it's whether we'll get there or not, I don't know. But that's not the subject of the conversation. I think we could. If we get there, awesome. If not, I'm gonna try and have fun trying now. And I'll be honest, like I just stopped having fun. That's the whole point of this conversation. The whole kicking point of this conversation was I just stopped having fun. And I don't think that's something that can be criticised in the way it kind of did, because, like I say, it was brought up quite clearly and vocally in Raw, which is absolutely your prerogative, absolutely. But I was named quite heavily in that stream. From the 15 minutes I was there, I saw my name used like 20 times in the chat by people who don't know me, but they were directed to judge what I had said based on not knowing me and based on an interpretation given in that stream, which obviously it's with the main developer of the game and one of the other developers of the game. It's going to be a biased situation, as this community is going to be a biased community because it's my community. You made a public statement, you showed up in the chat, I figured you wanted to talk. I wanted to dispel any rumors that I was trying to cause hostility. It wasn't until I got I got like 7 or 8 DMs saying, you might want to see this, they're coming at you, from other people who I'm not going to name, but other people came to me to tell me that I needed to be in there because it was coming at me. What I would say is, it didn't need to be about me. The conversation that I brought up wasn't at all about yourself or Pixel or the developers behind the game. It was about what I feel is the environment of the game being a bit of an issue, and my opinions on why that might be. I am glad you are here, and I'm genuinely glad because you can hear me like say it now instead of, well, I've got sellotape on my thumb. You can hear me say it and you can hear me talk and all that sort of stuff, and hopefully you can get an indication that I'm not angry at like you or anyone else. I'm just not enjoying the game and I want to move on. I didn't put that statement out for you. I put that statement out for my community who follow me on Twitter. I also posted it in Discord. I put that out so that people that follow me, that hopefully have engaged with my content in the past, can see that this is the reason why I'm not playing the game they may have followed me for. The chat was about the grind. We'd like to talk about relevancies in the community. We spoke quite highly of you in your statement and our thoughts about it. Some of it was. Some of it was, absolutely. Some of it was. There was quite clear, have you seen this? And it's just because they're not outwardly, I follow you, it's relevant to me. 100%. Pixel doesn't. Not a problem. He can follow who he wants. I'm not going to tell anyone who to follow, but it was put out to people who follow me. That's my community, you know what I mean? I've got every right to put it out there, because that way people who might not be in my Discord can see it, you know? I think most of us in some time or not have had some low times and some desperate times. Marbles did change so many people's life for the better. COVID hasn't helped people's sanity and mental health. One thing we could always count on in the Woot community was the easiness we could talk to each other, and knowing one mind was also there if you're struggling. I'd hate for Marbles to become another place where you leave because it becomes a problem and you feel like you can't talk about it or try to make things okay. That is a little bit of something that I think we're in danger of, because people, rightly or wrongly, feel like they can't speak out about it because of the repercussions. I'm not afraid of the repercussions. I'm not. If I don't want to do Marbles anymore, I'm not going to do Marbles. And I don't think anybody that is coming to my stream solely for Marbles and they wouldn't come for anything else. It sucks that that's going to happen, but it is what it is. If somebody doesn't give a shit about me or the community or anything like that, and they're only here to get points, they have every right to leave. That's their prerogative. This is Twitch. I can't force anyone to be here, and nor would I try. But if people feel like they can't try and make something that they enjoy so much better because they feel like they can't speak up about it, that's a problem. And it was at risk of devolving into that, which is why I felt like I had to make this stream a little bit of a response and being able to have my say without just being what I felt was being dogpiled by other people. And I'm not saying that all happened in Raw. I got DMs with a lot of shit coming my way. I feel like I needed to do this in order to try and stop that from happening, because I don't want the drama. I just don't want to stream marbles anymore. And within your future endeavors, whatever they are, hit me up for Mario Kart or something sometime. Let's do it, $5 free. Let's do it, man. If you're not passionate anymore, there's no argument against that. Better to switch and keep being there for your community than burn out and lose you. Jamie, 100%. And I know you did the same thing, man. I know you did, which is why you're such a beacon in this, because you've gone through what I'm going through at the moment. And some of the things that were not directed at you, because I really didn't see anything. Everyone was like super complimentary of you when you went, but you obviously you didn't do what I did. You didn't leave in a way that was critical of the game. I just feel like I wanted to be, because I want the game to be better. This stream is not about trash talking MOS or Pixel by Pixel Studios or Woot. 100%, exactly. It's just not. It's not about trashing on anybody. It's about potentially trying to constructively come up with something, or at least explain why I don't feel like I'm enjoying the game anymore. The conversation was fine until it turned into a you problem and everything said was dismissive of any differing opinion. That shouldn't have happened, and I am surprised that it happened. Really surprised. I think it's amazing. Again, the things we say are for you to be your best you. If people feel attacked, that sucks. Just be your best you, period. I agree. And your stream, like I say, I didn't see it. I heard what people said about it, so I can't comment on anyone that said anything or exactly what they said. I can see the DMs that I received. That was an attack. That was a genuine attack on me. If you've had any of those based on this, I condemn that and I completely apologize, and I will sort that out. But I had attacks from people in the Marbles community because I dared to speak out about the game, and this is all... It's all one, it's like a snowball effect, and this is why people feel like they can't speak up. And a little bit, and I'll be honest, a little bit of the way Pixel reacted earlier is why people feel like they can't say anything. Spook, I'm really glad that you stuck around this far, because hopefully you can see why that reaction that happened earlier on in this chat is an issue. And we feel like it's an issue, and why people took an issue to it. Been looking, but a great stream. Take care, mate. Honestly, Chalky White, thank you for being here, man. This started as it should have ended, a streamer making a choice to move away from a game and giving his reasons why, so people understand it. Shouldn't have gone further than that. I understand why it did. Like, I mean, I put it out on Twitter. I'm not dumb. I know that people are going to see it, but I wanted to be able to say something that I feel like there are other people want to say it, but can't. There are VODs. If you think it's a you problem and not us just giving advice from experience, then go your own route and stop listening. Sorry, what do you mean, Spook? I've been here just lurking, gotta work early, see you next stream. No problem, Yorkshire lad, thank you. There are VODs. If you think it's a you problem and not us just giving advice from our experiences, then go your own route and stop listening. What do you mean? Just my opinion on Raw. Mate, I have no question, Spook. I have no question that the way that you will have phrased anything on Raw was not a direct attack at me. You're not that kind of guy. I know this, and I'll defend you on that. I've said it earlier on. Yeah, in no way do I feel like you would have been attacking me. I'm passionate about helping people from my own experience, and that's a good thing, and I'll fully support that. I'll try and do the same thing if I can. I don't have the same influence, but if I did, I would. I don't in any way think that you would have been attacking me on Raw, because you are not that kind of guy, and I'll defend that to the hilt. It does, again, set up a potential situation where people can do that, and in the time that I was there was no mention of, yo, let's not make this a personal thing. And this is something that I feel like the studio could potentially work on. It was like it was created as an environment where people felt like they could attack me specifically, because I was named by people in the chat and that wasn't stopped. It's like it created this environment where people felt it was a safe place to talk shit about me. And I'm not saying that you did that. I'm saying there are steps that you could have taken to stop it. I'm late, just a question. Go for it, Furboink. Go for it. If people think it's an attack, I encourage them to find somewhere else to listen to the information. Other than the developers of Raw, like I've loved that stream. Like there's so many times where I've not said anything. I love that stream. It's fascinating to me. all the time. Like, I'm genuinely late for a lot of things I do because I want to listen to that stream. Gotta head off, be up early in the morning. Good night, God bless. Much love, everyone. Hugs to you all. Take it easy, Ben. Honestly, Ben the Boss Jackson, thank you for coming. It's been a pleasure, mate. I enjoyed it. Thank you. We all started from nothing. We did. And I appreciate where we are. I really do. And I've said this earlier that I'm like 100% saying that it's mostly due to marbles that we got where we are. And I will thank the studio till the day I die for what they helped me to do. I'm raising a concern with a game because I'm passionate about it and because I love it. What's up, Josh? Welcome to the stream. There's nothing hate more than hearing, well, you're Spoo. What? Oh, so if people say, well, you're Spoo, you can do what you want. I can imagine. Like, I didn't struggle for 5+ years to be where I am, mate, and I completely empathize and sympathize, or whatever the thighs word is for that one. I don't know. I know you did. I know. Which is why I'm being so careful to not make this a Woot versus Marbles or Woot versus Spoo thing. I wanted a conversation. Thankfully, you've done that for us, and we've been empathize. Jesus Christ. Since you also struggled. Yeah, okay, empathize. There we go. I empathize, Spoo. I like getting passionate about this stuff. So do I. And that's what makes me so fascinated about gaming and streaming, because like, I'm passionate. I take no hard feelings from anything. And me neither. Whatever you said to me tonight, I'm taking no hard feelings from it. I am surprised at a few of the things that have been said. Obviously, you know that, but I'm not offended by it. I've not taken any hard feelings about it. I wanted this conversation so that you could hopefully get an interpretation of what I think is an issue with the game that could be changed or adapted, or at least amended in a way that can help the streamers more than it does now. And I think what we've heard from a few other streamers is that they're feeling exactly the same way about it, but they haven't said anything until they wanted or needed someone else to say something about it. Spoo, I'm going to be honest, mate. People are feeling this way about marbles on stream. Whether they will tell you that or not, they will tell me, and they have told other people. People are feeling this way about it, and something in the game needs to be amended in order to help people. Because as much as we can say it's a choice to do what you do, the game is set up in a way that makes it feel like it's not. Even if it's just a case of saying, of putting a warning in there saying, look, take regular breaks. I mean, I know there's that thing before the game, but it's all pixelated or blurry for me. I can't even see it. But just every 10 races, it pops up something saying, yo, take a stretch. Or if you've been playing for an hour, there's a 5-minute take your stretch break or something. I don't know the ins and outs. I'm not a developer. I don't know development of games. I don't know how feasible it is, but I think there has to be something. I think the fact there's so many other streamers here, from the littlest all the way up to people who've taken top 3, all saying we agree the current meta sucks, should hopefully make the studio step back and think, at least for a few minutes, that maybe there are changes that could be made. I really, really hope so. If that's the minimum that comes out of tonight, then I'll be happy. If it allows the studio to at least step back and say, hey, we need to think about this, and we need to potentially alter something, that's the least I can ask for, and I hope the studio do that. I would appreciate it if you do. I'm still going to watch Wootball, yep. Am I still going to watch Spoo? Yep. Am I still going to support other streamers on marbles? Yep. Do I wish there could be some changes? Of course. What, like the grind? Yeah, pretty much $5 Freak, and the things in my twit longer. If you haven't seen it, $5 Freak, the link is in the chat there for you, so you can check it out. I directly told Spoo when he swung by my stream last season how much it sucked and that I hated it. I hope it was listened to. I was extremely vocal in how much I thought this meta was terrible, and so am I, but I've never gone for top 3, but I can see it in people that I care about. On the viewer side, I would have to run in 60k races and thousands of tilt sessions to get in the top 3. I'd walk away with a gem run, honourable mention at season end from Spoo, a true honour, nothing more. How about at least passing out a trophy or a medal, anything I might show to my grandkids to explain why I'm always mumbling, get him in, get him in, get him in. Chorno, mate. I love this seriousness, but also the sort of the sarcasm in that is fantastic. Good job. But no, this is why I say, why are only the top 3 streamers given anything? Why are only the top 3 streamers given a reward? Even if it's not a marble in the game or something, just something that says, yo, I finished as one of the top 10, 20 streamers last season. Because those seasons where Sin ran constantly for a month to finish 4th, why is there no sort of recognition that, yo, this person beat 99.9% of other streamers out there? But then also, after Sin did that so many times, why was 4th last season suddenly given something no one expected to happen? How does that make someone feel after they finished 4th so closely in the previous 3 seasons? And I can't say there's always going to be a good time to do it, because there isn't. But still, that's gotta suck, especially if you didn't know it was coming. I didn't think any of this should be taken as negative to the developers. It should be seen as their fan base wanting to improve the game, because if everyone burns out, this game is going to die. That's why I tweeted what I did. I wanted the studio to see that this is a potential problem and try and at least think about it. That's all I can ask for. I hope that will happen. I think it reflects really well on Spoo for sticking around and listening. Absolutely, Susie. And Spoo, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for doing it, man, because it would be really easy to not be here, but you have done. And when I sent you that open invitation earlier, thank you for being here. Massively. People do not have to agree, but active listening without taking offense is a really valuable skill. Yes, if you can take on board feedback, your product will grow. This is a two-way thing. I'm sure that Woot has also learned and grown from this conversation. That's how we evolve. Absolutely, there is a criticism or a potential allegation that I may have made in there that people were given opportunities that other weren't. Spoo has corrected me on that. I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong on this one. Someone that was accepted onto Raw multiple times wasn't what I thought it was, and I apologize for that. I was wrong. Really glad this conversation was had tonight. Thank you, Panda. I appreciate it. Thanks, peeps. I really don't mind getting real about stuff. I'm not here to hurt people. We know you're not here to hurt people. You happen to be in a situation where some of the things that are potentially hurting people is a little bit out of your control. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way, like, you're only Spoo, you can't do this. What I'm saying is, the final choice, I guess, doesn't necessarily come down to you. All respect to you to try and help the developers improve a game. So many streamers would just step away. Constant improvements and adaptation is needed for games like this. I mean, I was a programmer. I know what iterative design is like. It's necessary at times, and I think a refusal to change will start to condemn the game and the community. You have to be open to change that is community focused and not just, feel like doing this today. Please, I would encourage you, I would beg you, please start listening to the community over what may be required or how people are feeling about it. Because even if they're not necessarily willing to say it, we've already heard here from, I hope he doesn't mind me mentioning, we've already heard here from Tony Blacks tonight that he decreased his length of streams because he wanted to catch up on stuff he was doing in his personal time, and he felt like he was missing that because of the length of streams he was doing. And this is someone who I heard say on stream tonight, I'll never stream anything other than marbles on stream. Fair play to him. He's a really nice guy, and I hope he has all the success in the world. I'm glad he's enjoying the game. But when someone who is the top streamer in the world at your game has to reduce their time because they're missing out on other things that they deem important, you need to hear that. It's important that you hear that. To be honest, it's not all about winning for Pixel. Your character says a lot about you. I'm honestly trying. I'm disappointed with a couple of things, Spoo, but I feel like I've been able to at least hold a sensible conversation and debate, and we've been able to talk about it like adults, and that's what I wanted from this. This isn't criticism, it's feedback. It needs to be seen as such. I hope so. I hope so. Mike doesn't like me much because I ripped apart the last Tilted. I can't comment or speculate on anyone's relationship of a personal nature with anyone else. I can't. It wouldn't be fair because I don't know the ins and outs of it, so it's not something I'm going to do. People do have likes or dislikes for other people in the world. That's human nature, but it's not something I can use in any sort of debate here. That's something that you'll have to sort out or potentially bury hatchets in your own time. Do you know how many individual marblers threw a ball down the track last season? Yeah, we talked about it earlier. It's around about 2 million, I think, but it doesn't take into account amount of times they did it. So somebody could have done it once or on a bot account or something like that. Because there are bot accounts on marbles. If you load up a stream, occasionally you'll get one that drops like 200, 300 marbles on a track. It's annoying as hell. And that's not a pixel by pixel studio thing. That's someone maliciously creating a bot to do it. That was a good read. I miss running the longer tracks. I miss the chat to know the people. I just see people drop 200 times and not say a word. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. But that's the environment. That's what we talked about. Mad props to people who can only stream marbles consistently. I get far too burnt out. Any game consistently is difficult to do. If that's all you're doing, that is difficult. So fair play to them. And I've got to the point where I don't feel like I can do that anymore. That's what sparked this whole conversation. On Pixel's side, listening to a lot of the complaining really messed with the positive growth of the game and the community. It's not easy being a dev who is reachable, so he stopped doing it so much. I can honestly, I can understand that. Like when all you're hearing or If you're a developer of the game, I'll be honest, it's going to be rare that you get a random message that says, yo, your game's amazing. I tried to do that with Pixel. Whenever Pixel joined one of my streams, I'm sure if he can hear me, he will back me up on this. Whenever Pixel joined one of my streams, and Spoo, I've done the same with you as well. If you joined a stream and raced with me, I messaged you immediately after the stream saying, yo, thank you for being on my stream tonight. It means a lot. Because I know how busy you guys are and how much shit you probably get from the community. So this was not intended to add to your list of shit that you get. It was intended to be a constructive discussion and debate on this one. It isn't easy being a dev that's reachable. It's not, and fair play to him for doing that. But if he is going to do it, he needs to be approachable, not just reachable. If you're putting yourself in a reachable position, you also need to be, in my opinion, need to be approachable at the same time. Because otherwise you're going to end up giving yourself a bad representation. And I'm not, in no way am I telling Pixel that he needs to change his attitude, because he's not going to. That's one of the things that a lot of people like about him, myself included. I love how straightforward and straight, like down to earth, and just bang, he's going to tell you what he feels. But if you need to be aware that that is going to polarize a lot of opinion as well. And I'm sure he does know that, but you can't be annoyed when somebody gets offended by it if you know that you have the intention or potential to offend someone. Raheem Sterling, 3 Lions, thanks for the follow. Let's go, brother, it's coming home. In a rare moment, I'll defend Pixel here on this. Trying to sift through player comments and concerns and advice is a painstaking process because a lot of people giving bad advice as well. Absolutely. Absolutely it is. Most of the marble streams are streamers barely talking and only 20 people in chat, even though 50 plus marbles have been dropped. You're one of the exceptions to that, but very few streamers who do exclusive marbles seem to be enjoying life. I don't know whether they are or whether they're not. I can't comment on their life enjoyment because I don't know. I think there's a potential for it to be damaging. That's what this started with. There's a huge range of players in all games. I compare things to other games a lot. How many people play Fortnite competitively versus for fun? I honestly don't know. I don't think anybody's having fun playing Fortnite. But I don't know. It's not the community that I'm in or be honest, care about. Even I got famous. I wouldn't Fortnite. You're famous, $5 freak. Can I get your autograph? Honestly, I saw it coming, not to be like a dick about it or anything, but there's only so much time where you can stream one game. A lot of people have seen it coming with me. It was a matter of time until I either snapped or said something. And I'd rather say something and try and lead it in a constructive way than snap and end up being a hard person to live with for the people I care about the most. Really, to stop comparing marbles to Fortnite, they're not even close to the same. One is skill-based, the other is not. I'd agree with that as well. I think they're on different ends of the spectrum. I do respect him as a dev and understand that it takes time and effort to be a dev. The devs know I work hard, so they don't sleep. They just pass out of the PC. But it's still frustrating to be belittled for opinions. I hope there is no opinion belittling going on. I've tried to be really careful to avoid that. Don't get me wrong, I love this game and it helped me a lot through Lockdown 1 and even now. But it doesn't mean I don't like the grinder streamer meta, which doesn't apply to me. Yeah, I still love the game. This is something that people really need to be aware of. I still love this game. I've been watching this game today. I've been chilling with Sleepy. I was in with Tony Blacks. I was in with Cam on the Cob. I've been watching it because I enjoy it because it's medicinal. I enjoy watching the marbles roll. I've said this before. It's like ASMR for me. That's what I love about the game. That's why I got involved with it. So many people play for fun when other people think it not. That's why some people only play 50 races a season because they like playing marbles with their one streamer. And that's, yeah, I agree. Not everybody is going to be afflicted by the things that I'm thinking people can be afflicted from. It doesn't apply to every streamer because there are streamers that will say, well, we're going to run marbles for this stream and just have a bit of a chat and a laugh. And that's fine. It's the people with the potential to become more addicted and the potential to want to get to those top spots that it's going to start being unhealthy for. I'm not saying that's going to apply to everyone because not everybody wants to do that, and that's okay. But when somebody starts to feel like they should do it, there is only one way to do it at the moment, and that's to meta grind for a long amount of time. If there were other ways to get to those top spots that didn't involve 20-hour streams, which a lot of people are doing at the moment, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Going to bed, glad I tuned in. Looking forward to your new content. Woot, good night, chat. Thank you, Tyrone Games. I appreciate it, Esther. Have a great night. You can compare different games to make a point, but ultimately the focus is on marbles. Hopefully. I have so much respect for Pixel, Spoo, Enders, and all the other dev team. I named them in the Twitlonger to tell them how much I respect it. I named it in there because I know that I did not want this to come across as, yo, Pixel did this, Spoo did this. They've all been fantastic to me. They've all had conversations whenever I've spoken to them. This is not a personal attack on anyone. I have a two-part question. Depending on the first answer would affect the second question. Do you care at all about the leaderboards in the game? No, I care about getting to the next XP level so I can get pixel by pixel coins, because I think that, I'll be honest, I think they're too expensive. That's what I care about. But I'm probably not going to do that. Well, I'm not going to do that now, but no, I don't care about the leaderboards. And not anymore. Not because I don't want them. Like, I'd love to get my marble and emote in the game, but I don't want to do that to myself. Based on stuff like Sin has told me that he'd recommend nobody ever does it, I don't see why I would want to now. In general, the comparison between top players versus casual players is always huge. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree. There's a huge difference between playing a shooter competitively and grinding marbles. Competitive implies skill, not time sink. The only way to get a high rank in marbles is to invest literally most of your time in it. That's an issue. I think there should be another way. Looking good today. Thank you, Kras. Welcome to the stream. Welcome aboard. If you didn't love the game, you wouldn't be criticizing it so passionately. People need to recognize that. I hope so. I'm only here because I love it so much. It'd be really easy for me to just turn off marbles and never go back. I'm here talking about it so much in my free time and on my chatting stream because I love the game and I want it to be okay. It's not... Yeah, Sleepy was told that a negative mindset is holding you back. I don't think this is a negative mindset. I don't think wanting something to improve... If anything, I think that's the opposite of a negative mindset. Recognizing that there is an issue and hoping that it will constructively improve, I think, is a positive thing to try and do with a game. Especially when you're in the community that wants to play it and is still playing it. And up until yesterday, I was playing it. And I don't think it's a bad thing. It's definitely not a negative thing to find a flaw with something and hope it improves. It's hopefully constructive. That's what I'm trying to make it. Will we never be playing marbles ever again? Furboink, I said this earlier. I'm never going to say never because for a couple of reasons. One is I still love the game. I still want to play it, but not in its current situation, and that's a big difference. The other thing is, I know how hypocritical it would look at me if I was to sit and say, no, I'm never going to play marbles again. Oh, by the way, come to Survivor Sunday on Sunday. Which I don't think is happening, but that's beside the point. I'm never going to say never, because nobody knows how I'm going to feel, or if there are going to be any changes or any constructive things to come from this. I don't know that. So, will I play it again in future? Possibly. I can't say one way or the other. Possibly, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. I think you should do what makes you happy and sane. Yeah, no, I think every streamer should. Followers come and go. The community we created will be here for you and your amazing streamer full of positivitudinous. Furboink Busky, I love the word positivitudinous. Thank you. Don't ever stop being you. I follow over 100 streams and watch whoever is streaming stuff I'm interested in. If I'm not into the stream, I have plenty to pick from. You follow 100 people? Can you unfollow 99 of them and just stay here? What's up, Kat? Welcome to the stream. Welcome aboard. Things can't improve without criticism. It's important for evolution. I hope so. I've constantly been pushing for more fun in marbles, constantly. It's very hard to make that the forward-facing aspect because of all the time spent grinding. I've pushed for the fun narrative for years now. People think this is all about the grind. It blows my mind. I don't think everything is about the grind. I don't think everything is about it. I'm saying that it's presented in a way that make you feel like it is. There is a way to have a good time in marbles that is not grinding. I found some of it with challenge maps and Survivor Sunday. Other people have found that. Ross found that with Warrior Wednesday. Like, there is definitely a way to create fun in the game that doesn't involve grinding, but it is presented as the primary way to do well in it. And if people then attribute doing well in the game to having fun, it then becomes this cycle of, well, to have fun, you need to be top, because it's the first thing you see. It would help if the first thing you saw was, yo, these are some cool tracks, and just pick random ones. Not just like the top rated ones, because chances are they're going to be grind tracks anyway. Just lob out some, hey, this track is cool or something, and put the leaderboards in their own. I know there's a tab at the top you can click, but it's on the home screen, man. It's like the first thing you see is, to get on this screen, you have to grind the shit out of it. Just a small improvement that could potentially shift the mental focus a little bit. Speaking out about issues is not a negative mindset. No game is perfect. I agree. What I've taken from this is that I'll be better to grow a community outside of marbles and then bring a large base over if you want to play it, but strictly marble streams are going to be hard to grow now. I think if you're starting from very, very low, marbles is going to be difficult, but then so is any game. I don't think marbles unique on that one. It's hard to grow a community to start with. Whether your aim is to bring it over to marbles or not, it's hard to grow a community in the first place. Now, if one of your goals is, hey, I want to get an emote and a marble in the game, then do what DMP did and have already 1,000 people saying, well, we'll just go smash this out for a season, no drama. And they'll just, like, here we go, I'll stream it for 2 hours a day and we'll take #1 spot easily over someone who's been streaming it for 10 years, you know? If you want to do that, then that's a good way to easily take the #1 spot. That didn't feel competitive. I know it came down to it on the last season, but if DMP just wanted it, he could have won that in a week. Could there not be a way for the game to have a casual and competitive section so that streamers who have the ability to build their community off the version? You'd diversify the community a little bit too much if you did that, because there'd be no, for anyone who is interested in points, there'd be absolutely no reason to race with a casual streamer. You'd also make sure they'd have to go into a stream, ask if it's casual, leave the stream. I don't think that's a feasible thing. I appreciate what you're saying, Savage, but I don't think that's a thing that would be possible from a development perspective. I don't want to call people out with saying things like fuck marbles in a public setting will most likely be seen as a negative. Have I said that? Because I don't think I have. I don't know if that's aimed at me or not, but I don't think I said that, Spoo. To be fair, when I was in a top 10 race at the end of the season for the emote marble, I only found out about that tonight, Killspree, that they used to have a top 10 at the end of the top 10 race at the end of the season for the emote or marble. It was less harsh on everyone to push up the leaderboard and also made for an amazing event. Well, yeah, because you're then bound by the same restrictions that the game gives everybody. You got random chance if you finish in the top 10, you got a random chance to win it. That's kind of cool. I kind of like that. I do like that. I think that's a good idea. I'm just here to party and meet chicks. So far it's working. $5 freak, you got me here. Drama Llama, welcome, and by the way, thank you for being part of it. Thank you. I really liked it when it was top 10 streamers entering random races to find out which top 3 emotes were going in the game. I think that's kind of cool, you know. No matter what, people are always going to complain you can't make everyone happy. You can't. It's just a case of, like, discovering that people are unhappy and the reasons behind it. We're not just doing it to shit on the game. We're doing it for a constructive way. Growing a community is really difficult. I just started mine and I'm struggling. Steve Sanctuary, I hear you. I struggled at first as well. I still don't know what the golden ticket was. We just, we did all right in the end. I got quite lucky on my end. I was already in the community for about 4 months before I started streaming it. I knew a lot of people. Yeah, I went the other way. I just started streaming it and then started meeting people and I just hoped. Just that kind of guy. Just threw a dart and hope it hits someone in the butt. I've said it like 5 times now, Marble should not be competitive. It's literally labeled a casual game. You can't have a game that is both competitive and casual. Darcy Joe, I'm interested because I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I know you're a Dead by Daylight player. That is primarily labeled as a casual game because there's no leaderboard in it, yet there are tournaments for it. Equally, there are other things that are casual games that still have tournaments, like there's Uno, there's competitive Uno. I think you can do both. If you set them up that way, you can do both. He was talking about me. I said it once when drunk. I understand now, Sleepy. I wasn't party to that, so difficult one for me to get involved in. I don't want to call people out. They can talk about it if they want. I think she just did, Spoo. I think she just did. Yeah, I'm not gonna raise anything that I wasn't involved in because I don't know the context behind it. Do you ever feel like you try to be yourself but no one appreciates it? DJ Donnelly, first of all, welcome to the stream. Yeah, sometimes. I think that's what prompted a lot of this conversation tonight. Drama Llama, great name, by the way, isn't it just? Building relationships within your community is so important regardless of which game you play. It is. But that's why a lot of my topics were about how hard it is to grow those relationships when people feel like they only want to be with you for what they can get out of the game rather than a relationship with the streamer. And at high level marbles and like the top spots, people can and will enjoy being with you, but the second you're not doing that anymore, they'll go somewhere else and you become very disposable. I want to be called on. Sin, I'll call on you, mate. Like, we're just going to phone you up. Like, yo, Sin, I need a favour, mate. Sleepy Pan just admitted it was them that swore on your stream, not you, and they apologised for it. No, Mum, I heard that. I saw it now. I see it. I'm behind on the chat because we're going quite in depth into a few things. It's really not a big deal. It's just amazing how something like that can affect you. Just something to remember. Understood. You've been really interesting to listen to. I'm off of bed now. Yo, take it easy, Babs. Thank you for being here tonight. I'm not going to be on too long anyway. I plan to keep this relatively short and concise. We've already been nearly 3 hours, but I think what we're going to get into... God damn it, Toby. It goes on so long. That's what she said. I think that what we've that made me laugh. That was perfect timing. I don't want this to become in danger of just going round in circles and repeating the same thing. I think what we have talked about is hopefully Levity achieved, standard damage. If anyone can do it, this community can do it. I don't want to go round and round in circles. Hopefully what we've managed to achieve tonight, and fingers crossed, and Spoo will be able to say one way or the other, or maybe not, I don't know, but hopefully we've managed to allow the studio to see. Will you fuck off? Toby, I love you. You're a dick. Hopefully what we've enabled is the studio to have some sort of insight into what I feel, and I think a few other people feel, are issues with the game that could be adapted to hopefully make it better. What the studio choose to do with that information is entirely up to them. I just want them to be aware that it is a thing and potentially think about it. Either they will or they won't, I don't know, but I hope that is something that they're going to talk about and at least say, yo, you know what? Even though we don't agree with all of it, I think there are a few things that we could potentially do better to help people. Hey, Woot, I've been here for the better part of the stream. I just want to say thank you for bringing very important and needed chat. You're amazing and this needed to be addressed. Again, thank you, much love, dear. Cajun Lady, thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words. I just wanted to get it out in the open and talk about it, you know? You aren't the first to say this and won't be the last, though. Maybe not, maybe not. I don't know what anyone else has said or the way they said it. I've tried to do this in the most professional way I can, because I've said before...
And his name is John Cena!
Why am I doing this? Why? You can't see me. You can definitely see me. I'm on full bloody camera. Fucking John Cena. I've lost my train of thought now. Damn it, John! Why? Why? 3 hours it's taken. How about sign-ups to the grind? Do you know what? Honestly, I think that might be a shout, you know? That might be a shout. Then it's truly your choice. If you want to go for it, you can only go for it if you apply for it in the off-season between seasons. That actually might be a really good idea. In the couple of days between seasons, there is a form or something, and you type in your stream username if you want to be included on the leaderboards. How is that any different than it is now, though? I mean, hang on. And racers won't get points in your stream, so you don't have to deal with them if you don't want. Wait, racers won't get points? Why would anyone come to your stream? For fun. But then we're still in the same situation we are now. You can still go to a stream for fun, but it's unlikely unless you're giving something away now. If you're willing to help grow the Marbles community, can we please have smaller streamer host? What do you mean smaller streamer host on Moist Kitty? It's literally the league's proposal. I don't get it. Based on just that, I don't get it. I'm sure there's a more in-depth situation to it. I fully don't understand it from that. I've mostly talked about things in a way that isn't attacking, minus the incident Spoo was saying about I haven't been attacking anything. I have nothing but love for the game and the people I've met from it. Okay, Sleepy, I understand that. I understand. Host Marble Fest. Oh, so like different streamers host it, so... Right, smaller streamers host Marble Fest. So... I don't know whether... I hate the expression smaller streamers anyway. That you're up and coming, undiscovered, whatever. You're not a small streamer, it's a mindset that's... Dicks! It's a mindset that's dicks. It's a mindset that's hard to get out of. I was given an opportunity with Marble Fest, and I'm really thankful that I got that. And I think a few other streamers that are given that opportunity aren't like necessarily like established Marble streamers. The studios still need to be aware that the streamers they're choosing to host Marble Fest are a representation of the studio. So if that person doesn't know how to play marbles, or doesn't have any clue what's going on, or is wildly offensive, which they won't necessarily know, obviously they can do their due diligence and speak to them in advance. They have to be careful still. You can understand that from a studio perspective because they're representing Pixel by Pixel Studios, you know. Thank you for the stream you gave. Many of us have been holding it in a voice tonight. Hopefully the impact of all of us coming out about what we think about certain topics will create change, or at least a different viewpoint. Cam Plays Games, first of all, thank you for saying that. I'm not trying to be a mouthpiece for everybody, but I'm glad that you've been able to hear something that you've identified with and been able to get it off your chest as well. The one thing I will say to anyone, and this is my encouragement to you guys, is do not be afraid to voice your opinions on something, but just do it respectfully, and it's going to be met with much more traction than if you just rant and rave about something. That's all I've tried to do today, is have an opinion but be able to raise it in a professional way and to talk to people in that sort of way with respect, because they do deserve it. They are hardworking people that just might have gone slightly down the wrong path. Can I be your mouth, please? God damn it, Ryan. But no, I would encourage anybody that's got this sort of issue or any other issue with anything, don't be afraid to talk about it. Just please do it in a respectful way. I do not want to be the instigator or creator of drama in a negative way. I don't. So if you're going to use that, if you're going to be negative or hostile about it, please don't put my name associated with that, because I don't endorse it. I don't want you to be hostile. Treat people with the respect that you would want to be treated with, and talk to it openly, honestly, and adultly about it, and see what comes of it, because you're more likely to be met with success. You catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. Don't get drunk and say fuck marbles, it doesn't go well. I can imagine, no, but I don't get drunk on stream, so this is okay. Well, not anymore. God knows what would have happened tonight if I was drunk. But Spoo, I want to say a huge thank you for you. Thank you for coming around and sticking with the stream tonight. Thank you for engaging with with content. It's just showing of how impactful public things are. It is, which is why hopefully you read that tweet longer, and you can see that I tried to be as respectful as possible whilst also getting across the opinions that I had about the game. The only people I named by name in there was to thank them for what they've managed to do for me. Hopefully you can appreciate or understand that I was, fingers crossed, as respectful and professional as I can be, because I will always advocate in streaming professionalism all the time. You are a representation of you, your brand, and everything that you stand for. Be professional about it. Can we all agree now that announcing your departure is sometimes okay? I only did it for my community, let's be honest, but where else can I do it? Someone's gonna see it. I could not agree more. Him being here said a lot. I absolutely did. Spoo, I was in the middle of thanking you when I actually read something you said, but anyway, Spoo, thank you for engaging with us tonight. Thank you for being part of it. Thank you for having a conversation, and I really do appreciate your time here tonight, because it makes a difference to know that it is being seen by the developers, and you are at least hopefully taking it seriously. Spoo, thank you for your time. Ladies and gents, if you can, give me a little bit of a love heart in the chat for Spoo. None of this is personal at all, Spoo. You know this. Give a love heart in the chat. If you've got Spoo emotes or anything like that, put them in the chat, because I'd love to see it. Honestly, if you have them, get Spoo's emotes in here or something like that. Just show him some love. Honestly, as much as I love Marbles, the community, everything it's done, it's more important to be happy. I want people to know that I don't give a shit if you play Marbles or not. Your happiness is more important than anything. Wise words, man. Thank you. I seriously appreciate it, Woot. Thank you. No, Jamie, thank you, brother. Thank you very much for the kind words that you've given me and the help and assistance. And Susie will back me up that I came out of a private conversation with you, and I was the best I'd felt in a long time after I spoke to you. So, Jamie, again, thank you. I appreciate that. Everyone that's been here, whether you're another content creator or whether you agree or disagree with what I've been saying, thank you for engaging in a bit of a hopefully helpful or positive and productive discussion. I do appreciate it. I'd love to do more stuff like this. I really would. So it's just, I don't know, get me to post something else on Twitter and I'll see what I can make drama out of next week. But honestly, thank you everyone for being here. It's been vital that we're able to talk about these things, and thank you everyone for being healthy and safe and appreciative and respectful of each other.